Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free. Always. You miss things, we got you covered. All 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion of the show on iTunes and our own audio vault as well. So go check out the podcast there. You can email the show if you like, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameron Show. Utilize that WTSM app while you're at it. Hello, Periscopers and YouTubers. Good to be with you. All right. Nothing like going out there and taking care of business against Stetson. Oh, man. Well, when you lose, you lose. Doesn't matter if you have 15 hits and you lose, or you have, in this case, none.
I know it's from another show at another time, but all I could think of when you did that was Carl Lewis.
Uh-oh. Yeah, man. That was, well, I don't know. I guess, should it be surprising when a not-so-good team doesn't play well? You know, I think I found myself somewhat stunned by a no-hitter from a bad Stetson team and a kid who took the hill for them that was 1-8 on the year. Surprising? Yeah, found that somewhat surprising, admittedly. I also know that it's one game, so, you know, you got to bounce back now and find a way to win a series, the last one at home and the last one in Mike Martin's career at home. Jesus.
Well,
no hitter to Stetson.
The good thing about baseball is you don't have to wait very long.
No, you don't. I not exactly lighting it up at the plate these days with the 2 games against Jacksonville and now this no-hitter. But what a weird team. What a weird year. Everything about this year has been all mixed up. Just bizarre. And we kind of knew it would be strange because it's a really young team. I actually think so. I don't want to try to paint a rosy picture in the midst of a season that is pretty disappointing. But I'm going to go ahead and presume here that they make the postseason, and we'll see. I mean, all you got to do is make the postseason, and if you do and you play decent enough, who knows? Maybe shock somebody in a region. We'll see.
Percentage confidence, 0 to 100, that they make the postseason. How do you feel?
I didn't check today's RPI. Where are we? What happened after yesterday?
I didn't look. I didn't want to look.
Yeah. No, I think they're going to do everything they can to get us in. I really believe that. I'm not just saying that as wishful thinking. I've watched the committee do this before with other coaches that have cachet, and who has more cachet than Martin? I mean, he's the all-time winningest coach in college baseball history. So I think if they can find a way to get him in, they're going to get him in. If it's close, if it's 50-50, he gets in. I mean, they'd have to keep losing. I mean, they'd have to be given no chance. Like, they couldn't make a viable argument. They'd have to be in a position where if a committee member was to be interviewed with a straight face, they couldn't tell you why it was, Florida State got in. They'd have to be shamed.
So is that 70% confidence?
Yeah, I think probably more than that even. Now, don't go, I almost said something I can't say. I was close. I don't know where that was coming from. Don't go and get swept or something over the weekend by the Spiders. I mean, Jesus, don't do that. Spiders. I've always liked Richmond. And not baseball, just the
because they beat Virginia Tech, it seems.
Well, the cool uniform, and I like the spider logo, and spiders are freaky. Ooh.
It's a good mascot.
It is a really good one. Oh, spiders bother me. Anyhow, we didn't even talk yesterday. That dude walking up to the house getting bit by a snake, that was awesome. He handled that better than most. Who handled – I mean, we could have had the call. Better than most, because that was – if you walked up – folks, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's video. Go on the line. You'll find it. It'll pop right up because it just happened yesterday. This man went to visit his uncle, I think it was, or his grandfather or something, and he comes to the front door, and they have one of those security cameras.
No good deed, man.
And, yeah, my man goes to knock on the door, and I think he had to open the screen, right? And there was a snake, unbeknownst to him, curled up at the top of the door jamb there around the little pole that hangs down. He didn't see it, Imagine if oh my God. Anyhow, so he didn't see it. And in many ways, it saved him. It didn't save him from getting bit, but it saved him the startle factor because he didn't have time. He opens the door and he knocks, and the snake strikes and bites just above his eye, right on his face, right there on his forehead. And he handled that better than I would have. I can't believe that guy didn't run around. You know, like when you walk through a spider web, you're like, and you're waving your hands frantically, and somebody sees you from across the street and thinks, what the hell's going on with Cameron?
He's doing a 360 over there.
We've all done that. Like if you go take your trash out in the morning and you're kind of bleary-eyed, or you got to take out recycling or something, and it's 6 a.m., I've had this happen numerous times. You're just not even thinking. You're kind of in a fog, and you walk through that spider web that's on the side of the house because you know, that's where your trash can is, and you just dance all around. And I've seen, like, in the street, somebody walking their dog, and I'm just frantically waving what appears to them to be waving to thin air.
Look, son, it's a Satan worshiper.
He's just lost his mind, that man. I'm always like, why? No.
Do you see the Church of Satan got tax-exempt status?
Yeah, good for them.
All right. That's at least consistently applied.
Yeah. So Florida State falls yesterday, and now they've got to beat Richmond. And later in the show, heads up, everybody. Later on today, during the show, I'll give away a pair of tickets. The demand on these tickets may not be great, but it is Martin's last series at home. So we would, you want to say goodbye to the great Mike Martin in a 2 seats behind home plate will do.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. So we'll give those out later on in the show. Man, what is, by the way, and I'll get to the NBA in a second. You know how I was telling you earlier that I love when I come to work seemingly every other day that that the news is that Florida State signed somebody or is on the cusp of signing somebody. I've been coming to work lately and we're steady signing 4-stars, steady signing guys.
Receiving the commitments for.
Yeah. Sorry. Verbal commits. You know what else is happening every other day? Somebody from Florida is getting in trouble. Good Lord, what is going on down in Gainesville? If you haven't seen the latest, Florida Gators freshman Chris Steele put his name in the transfer portal 5 months removed from being on campus. He's a 4-star cornerback, and he decided that he wants out already, and that stems from a request to have his dorm room changed from living with backup quarterback Jalen Jones, who just put his name in the transfer portal and was charged with or accused of sexual assault not once but twice. I read that story already. It's an ugly story. Nonetheless, Chris Steele here said that, look, I'm uncomfortable living with this guy. I want to be out of here. I don't like this kid. Put me in another room, please. Good on this kid. Florida the staff didn't move him. The staff said they weren't planning on moving until later in the summer. He said, well, then go to hell. I'm out. Good on you, kid. What are you guys doing?
That sounds like the kind of young man we could use here in Tallahassee.
Maybe.
He's a 5-star safety, right?
Yeah, 5 or 4, depending on where you look. Yeah.
Okay.
Come on down, young man.
Hey, man, that's character right there.
Yeah, he was the top recruit in that 2019 class, rated number 42 in the country according to 247's composite rankings. He's 6'1". Bellflower, California. I'm always suspect of California football players.
West Coast Knowles, come on now.
Yeah,
like would be so far, right?
I do like him a lot, and I know that's just a hangover from some guys we had in the past. That
Mike Harris was good.
Yeah, there's certain guys that we had in the past that
I'm.
You
something
think
in my
head.
head.
Got a specific guy.
Maybe one.
There's a couple.
Not 6 guys, but one.
Yeah, there's one. There's one guy. There's another guy. There's a couple actually that you're like, okay, California. Something about California football players, and it's doomed me forever. I'm not saying they can't play. There's plenty of good ones. There's great examples. I just in my head, I'm prejudiced against California football players.
I thought Lorenzo Booker was great out in California at the Emerald Nuts Bowl.
Yeah, UCLA, running like he never did here.
Quite literally.
That was amazing. Yes. Anyhow, so the Jones kid at Florida had allegedly 2 incidents of sexual assault in early April. Steele was one of 2 teammates to walk in on Jones during the first incident, which is what caused Jones to stop, according to CBS Sports. In a story I read earlier today, aside from those allegations of sexual assault by Jones, Brian Edwards, he was the Miramar High School graduate, was arrested on battery complaint of his girlfriend. You had a Gator staff member, Otis Yelverton, who was charged with aggravated cyber stalking. Florida has had an incident a day. Brian Edwards, like I said, he was arrested Monday with charges. And I mean, What's going on in Gainesville?
My goodness, Dan Mullen.
We could prattle on about the great Dan Mullen, but damn, he is not worried about what you do off the football field. That's for certain.
Yeah, I know he's got dance moves, but we got to be better than that.
Yeah. Now on to got to be better than that. Boy, unceremoniously hammered with the Boston Celtics. Just, I mean, good Lord. You almost got to be in shock if you're a Celtics fan.
Not just screwing, Mitch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking back to the start of the season, really going back to the previous offseason and thinking about what they thought they would be going into this season after that run last year. And golly, has a superstar like Kyrie Irving seen his stock fall in the eyes of those who, look at the upper echelon in the game and affix, sort of certain star ratings based on who they think can close out and win championships and carry teams like that. He's fallen off the map now. You can't say that. They play better without him.
Yeah, he's demoted to star.
Yeah.
He's been demoted from superstar to star, yes.
You know what? I think you would just describe him as, at this point, just a scorer.
That's pretty damning. That's Carmelo Anthony territory.
Well, okay, so we do this a lot, but when you think of somebody like, I don't know, think of, go to OKC, right? At some point, people begin to wonder, can they win like that? Can you win with a guy like that? Especially if you keep getting bounced and you're not.
You get bounced by Portland, the answer is no.
Right,
no disrespect to Dame.
But what I'm saying is Westbrook is now a guy that people will talk about as he's just a great athlete, really transcendent athlete, actually, and an amazing scorer who plays hard. But there are other elements of his game that are lacking.
Who seems more obsessed with a triple-double than he does a ring.
So, fair or not, that's now how he's perceived. Like, we've seen this act. I know how this ends. He's a lot of fun, but he's not the guy that you can say will carry us to a title. He's not that player. I think that's what happened to Kyrie here. I think he drops a serious notch as you watch that guy. Clearly, his teammates hate his ass. They can't wait to get rid of him. And he's a guy that begged for this responsibility. That's why he left LeBron James. He didn't like being second fiddle. And statistically speaking, it's pretty damning when your team plays better without you on the floor.
Last night, it looked like that maybe it was just objectively the better option for Brad Stevens once they rallied after the opening run that Milwaukee went on, and you feel like, ooh, boy, are they ever going to get this close again? It's that group of role players with Kyrie Irving off the floor that shrink the margin. Now, I know Milwaukee stars aren't out there, but it was the first sign of life in that game. But then the problem was that Kyrie came to life a little bit towards the end of the first half, and so you're thinking, ooh, is he getting it going? Because if he does, then he's going to score 20 out of the next 25 for your team.
Yeah, the answer ended up being a resounding no.
No, he did not.
He went 6 of 21, 1 of 7 from 3, and looked like for a little while there that he was doing not much more than pouting.
But here's the thing. Okay, let's say that game one doesn't happen, and it's just a clean sweep. The way Milwaukee has played the entire season,
played really well.
I don't think that this would be looked on as seriously as it is now. Because Boston won game one in such resounding fashion, now you have this maybe false pedestal that you were putting the Celtics on that they got smashed from. That's the thing here to me. Maybe they were never that good. Maybe they just had a complete outlier of a game, and so they got told what time it was.
Yeah, what was weird is that Milwaukee seemed shocked by the Brad Stevens decided to play the game a certain way, which was to build a wall in the middle of the paint. And so Giannis couldn't do what he does, which is coast-to-coast thunder and athleticism and grace and beauty, unlike we've ever seen from an athlete that size. So he said, no, you're not going to do that. We're going to get the ball out of your hands before you get in the lane.
We're going to make you pay for that wall.
Yeah. Other people are going to have to shoot the ball, or you're going to have to score differently. And he looked shocked by it. That's why we were stunned.
Yes.
We were like, well, here's another Brad Stevens special, but why are they shocked by this? They just saw him a year ago. What are we doing? So that game did happen, and by the way, that game was the tail end of Boston winning their last playoff game.
Correct.
They won 5 straight to start the postseason. They swept in the first round, and then they win that game resoundingly, and you're going, okay, well, maybe the regular season was the anomaly because they were maddening in the regular season. They were wildly inconsistent. By the way, when they play poorly, they're difficult to watch play because it's just Kyrie dribbling around. That's all it is. Just Kyrie dribbling around, hoping to find a shot. And when he's not hitting shots, everybody's just standing there. It's awful to watch. It's bad. It's like why I get pissed watching Houston. You're just kind of, all right, this is what we're doing here. Speaking of which, I'll get to that one. But anyhow, they'll have to blow that up now. They'll package something for Anthony Davis, and then that'll be that. But it's interesting to me. Read the Boston papers, look at the post-game press conference from Brad Stevens, listen to the players, listen to Kyrie himself. It's evident they hated each other this year. It never worked. There is no synergy with that group whatsoever. I think he looks relieved. I think he's glad it's over.
I have a feeling that old-ass Bob Ryan is really a fan of Kyrie Irving after all this.
So Bob Ryan is great, and you know that firsthand because you got to have a long conversation with him. But I recently was listening to an interview with somebody who referenced Bob Ryan, another media member, and he was saying that that you don't know what a pimp Bob Ryan is in Boston. Like, he is the dean of all sports to the point where coaches and players, legends, like defer to him when he comes into Bob Ryan's here, everybody. And it's like, you're Bill Russell.
So when I was at Iona, he's still not even completing the prime of his TV career because he was on, obviously, like Around the Horn forever and a day. That is right, Around the Horn. Pardon the interruption, it's Smoke Wilbon.
Mm-hmm.
And I roomed with 3 Boston kids, and across the way were a couple of Rhode Island kids. And Bob Ryan was like the bigger celebrity than like KG.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's nuts.
he's like the Godfather of Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's cool that you got to talk to him at length because I saw that you did that.
He's a tall guy.
Really tall guy.
I didn't expect that.
I also think it's cool that even though he's a Hall of Famer in the business and an elite writer, he's just an exceptional writer, and apparently a classy man, that he is that humble. I mean, you would never know. Bob was just like, how you doing?
No, yeah, it was odd. I was expecting him to bring something to the table or be like, all right, see you later, kid. He was just kind of, would you like to talk for longer or would you not?
Listening to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. Listening to your question and answering it and caring about what you're
asking. I ran out of material.
How cool is that?
I expected a 90-second interaction.
So think about the storied franchises in the news currently in the NBA. Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers, the 2 most storied franchises. And I go to the Lakers right now, and then I'll touch on another one that's in the group. Not quite at that level, but close. I never thought I'd see a day, and you heard it on SportsCenter there, where a guy like Tyronn Lue or anybody else for that matter would turn down a 5-year deal to coach the Lakers worth millions. The Lakers. And Laker fans are diehard, and they are in abundance. If you're a Lakers fan, you have to be in shock. It's like if the Dallas Cowboys, with all of their cachet, all of their history, rich history, and their Super Bowl championships and all that, if they were to pay a free agent top dollar, most you could spend, max amount, right? And that person went, I think I'm going to go play for the Cardinals. I mean, that's what's happening right now. You've got coaches and players who are like, I don't want to go to the Lakers. Think about all these free agents we're talking about. Are any of them going to Los Angeles to be with LeBron James? They can't get a coach to say yes to take the job with the Lakers.
They can't get Lou.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so he turns the job down. There were reports that there were multiple people whom they kind of hinted they might be interested in, but they didn't want to say it publicly, so then he got humiliated, who said, I'm good. What is going on behind the scenes in L.A. other than Kurt Rambis and his wife apparently also being in on every interview? Why is Kurt Rambis' wife here? What are they doing? I know she's an executive. Jeannie Buss's best friend.
There you go.
Yeah, screw that.
That's all that matters in that organization.
But I'm saying, come on, man. Can you imagine walking into that room and
why is Magic Johnson hired to be there? It clearly wasn't to work. What? It's because the Buss family trusts him, Phil Jackson, Rambis.
Better get Kobe in there. Get Kobe in there. I think Kobe might actually do a good job. Kobe's a smart guy. Bit of a sociopath, but a smart guy. I think he's a little crazy.
Kobe, why are you always licking your lips, man? It makes me uncomfortable.
And then finally, the other story.
What Michael did.
The other storied franchise is the Sixers, which if they lose tonight at home, and Embiid goes out looking soft like that again, I don't know. Listen, when he plays great, he's arguably one of the best 3 players in the game. Kind of need you to play great. What are we doing? We're in the playoffs, my man, and you can't talk as much smack as he talks and get bounced in the second round again. You can't do it. And I don't hate on him the way I hate on Harden, who went missing last night in a very critical situation after Kevin Durant got hurt, and they could have used their star to rise up and put the series away, basically. Anyhow, we'll get to Harden.
Go home with a chance to close, all that.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, I'll bet you are reluctant to talk about that development.
You know, he was so good in the third quarter. Picture me watching this last night. He's so good in the third quarter, and I'm going, oh, damn it, man. He's really played well in this series.
You put your sword down, didn't you, for a moment?
Yeah, I did. I did. I was like, well, I'm going to have to leave him alone. I mean, he had an MVP regular season. He's shown up in the series. What am I going to do? He's playing well. And then the fourth quarter happened, and I went, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
It's the sad music that Snoopy plays, right? You know, that it gets on the top of his dog. It's, wah, wah, wah. That's you walk into the fridge to have a beer.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, man.
That the Harden thing is over, and then it comes back to life.
There he is. Gone missing. Somebody put an APB out for James Harden. I'm looking everywhere. I can't find him. Has he even touched the basketball this quarter? It is the fourth quarter.
There he is. No, that's a State Farm commercial.
What
that's not the game.
World are we doing here? Taking one shot, a layup with 30 seconds to go. In the last 10 minutes of the game, you take one shot? Man, stop it. Okay, good to know I'm still on that guy. I got it right with him.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Yuengling Golden Pilsner, a highly sessionable beer, golden in both name and color. Yuengling Golden Pilsner is the perfect balance of hop and malt character for crisp and smooth thirst-quenching refreshment. Cheer for your garnet and gold with Yuengling Golden Pilsner. Yuengling, brewing good times for 190 years. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Triangle Sales.
Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop is proud to support those who serve us daily. As a way of saying thank you, Jerry's is launching a new discount program for active and retired law enforcement, first responders, and military. Stop by and pick up your free discount card today at either of Jerry's 2 locations, one on Scherer Road or their new location on Cary Forest Parkway. Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop, online at jerrycigarshop.com.
Tee it up at the Edwin Watts Golf Outdoor Demo Day this Friday, May 10th from 11 till 4 at the Southwood Golf Club with exclusive Demo Day savings. Get custom fit by vendor reps from Ping, Callaway, Mizuno, Cobra, TaylorMade, Titleist, Srixon, Cleveland, Wilson, and more. Trade in your old clubs and get a 50% bonus trade-in value towards your new Titleist TS2 and TS3 driver purchase. Some manufacturer restrictions may apply. While you're there, register to win great prizes. Don't miss the Edwin Watts Golf Outdoor Demo Day this Saturday from 11 till 4 at the Southwood Golf Club. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Get your weekend started on Tallahassee's Sports Monster with Fishing Florida Radio. Every Saturday from 6 to 9 a.m., the guys from Fishing Florida Radio get you up to date on what's new and biting in the North Florida region, while welcoming big-name guests and celebrities too. Fishing Florida Radio on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, 501 St. James Avenue, Panacea, Florida, and by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Dale Jr. Chevrolet, 3127 West Tennessee Street. Online at DaleEarnhardtJRChevy.com.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Paul George played perfect defense.
All right.
Paul George was already jumping before Lillard was jumping on the jump shot.
Perfect defense blocks the shot.
No, I'm saying there is no way to block it, is what I'm saying. There is no human being alive that's ever played the game that could have blocked that shot.
There is if that person's playing perfect defense. That's perfect defense. I'm just saying he played good defense, very good
Go
defense.
back and look at it in slow motion. Paul George is moving toward the basketball long before Damian Lillard is leaving the ground for the jump shot.
He gave Damian Lillard an inch, Dan, and I'm telling you, you don't give an assassin an inch because you know what that assassin will do? He'll take a mile. Perfect defense is blocking the shot, and it was very, very good defense. The offense was just a little bit better. The offense was actually perfect, and you got to match perfection with perfection. Very good defense, perfect offense wins.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
With a roster full of young superstars, the sky's the limit for the 2019 Atlanta Braves, and we'll bring you every huge moment.
Acuna running out of room on the warning track, leaping, made the catch. What a play by Acuna.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer & McConaughey, Bagel Market Bistro, and by Early Trucking Company in Arlington, Georgia. You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
If you're somebody who hates Boston Celtics, go check out Michael Rappaport's Instagram feed from last night.
I feel like we should just rip the audio from these things, bleep them, and call them Lessons in Civility with Michael Rappaport and just play them.
It's the best. I knew it was coming because he's a New York guy, so he hates the Celtics. So the second that happened, I was like, oh, there's a post coming.
You like the one with the cat with the big bug eyes, right?
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
He's like, whoa. Ma!
Yeah. Get out here. What the? Every time I see the couch one, I can watch that. Those guys down in Miami, the couch on the roof.
Yes, yeah. That was a great idea.
All right, so the reigning MVP and back-to-back NBA scoring champion, James Harden, was just a compliment last night in the fourth quarter to his other teammates. Just wanted to make sure they got the ball. Want to make sure they take the shots. Now, he did drop 31. 2 of those were in the fourth quarter. 2 of those 31 came in the fourth quarter and the game wasn't on the line when he got the 2 that he did get in the fourth quarter. So it's fun to watch. Final 7 minutes and 8 seconds, didn't take a shot. That'll hurt your feelings. What are we doing here?
Just going through the numbers, right?
Just I'm looking at the sheet, Tom. I'm just trying to get a gauge for the fact that the Golden State Warriors lost their best player, who in the moment looked like he had torn his Achilles. I did not know. Now, this is interesting, and several coaches and players commented on this last night. I've never been around a player or been around a teammate or a person that's torn an Achilles. I've seen people tearing Achilles on TV, but I've never been around it in person. So I didn't know that the signature reaction to a torn Achilles is what what Kevin Durant did last night.
Yeah, Reggie Miller was all over that.
Yeah, well, lots of people pointed out. Kerr did too after the game, talking about it. But I heard, several former NFL players commented on Twitter, and basketball players are saying that the reaction to most torn Achilles is that the player whips around as if they feel like somebody just kicked them in the Achilles or slapped them. Like they feel like somebody's hitting them. So when you watch him, he turns around like he's about to fight. Like, who just kicked me in the Achilles? That kind of a thing. But that's the normal reaction when somebody tears the Achilles, because they feel like somebody hit them there. And so when I heard that, I went, oh, well, we're doomed here, because that's exactly what he did. He whipped around quick. Like, what in the world? There's nobody there.
And Knicks fans, too, were going, no.
So, and I did think of that last night. As soon as it happened, I went, oh, man.
The entire balance of power in the Eastern Conference could be decided with one MRI.
Yeah. And is that back yet today?
Not as of
he's having it.
3:15.
He's having it today, but they're saying it's a calf, not an Achilles.
They were quick to say that last night.
Well,
and
it's
they
important.
got the word out to everybody. Wojnarowski was on SportsCenter. Steve Kerr said at the postgame, everybody reported the fact that it was not an Achilles, but it was a calf.
Achilles, he's done for a year. And you're exactly right. That changes everything. He still may be out the remainder of this series, and who knows? He could be out for the Western Conference Finals. Not a good situation. I mean, a calf, if it's a severe calf strain, those aren't good. It's like if you have a pulled hamstring or a pulled calf, you're in trouble.
Ask for something and you shall receive.
Boom. What do we get?
3:26 p.m., not 7 minutes ago.
There it is.
Golden State's Kevin Durant has suffered a mild strain on his right calf and expected to be reevaluated next week. Ooh, ouch.
Oh, so he's missing the remaining games.
League source tells ESPN that's Woj, so you can take that to the bank.
Mm-hmm. Good for him, man. I don't want to see something decided like that. That sucks.
Commenters are the worst. First comments, wish it was season ending. Damn. I didn't pull up that comment. I pulled up the tweet. There
That's
it is.
exactly what you would see. Comment section. That's typical. By the way, so that guy goes down, and here we are in a close game. And, I got this guy over here as the scoring champion, the MVP. Surely this is the moment that James Harden's going to step up and carry the day for Houston. But alas, I get it. The strategy was to get the ball out of his hands. That's good coaching. Kerr said, let somebody else do it. So where are you, Chris Paul? I mean, damn.
He's not insured for that.
I mean, he turned it over 3 times late. He seemed to be just running around looking to get a call. Seriously, that's what he was doing. He was running around trying to get a call.
If they lose the series in Game 6, I hope somebody, and we have a lot of talented people who listen to the show, can Photoshop the State Farm guy into Chris Paul's jersey with a confused look on his face. That's better than the Jordan thing.
That's such an unlikable team. I can't say it enough. They're just such an unlikable
You can't say it enough.
They're just so unlikable. Chris Paul is the worst, man. I mean, listen, he's great.
If you're a Jimmy Tapper, you're automatically not cool.
Yeah,
you can't be cool.
And he's done it more than once. He slapped balls in college, and he slapped them in the NBA.
I would have gone with Jimmy Tap, but now people know. If they didn't know what that is, now they do.
That's what he does. So, I mean, you want to talk about being a habitual line stepper. There he is. By definition, he's a habitual line stepper, and the worst kind. I mean, we can deal with lots of things.
Also, I know this doesn't amount to a hill of beans because you're shooting a basketball here. You're not trying to win like a bodybuilding competition. But if you look at Harden and Paul, they're not exactly working out the same way that they are. They really are.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going on with him, by the way. If I was Houston, golly, Paul.
They're the in-shape guy in the Y League.
They paid Paul over $100 million. My man, we need a little help here because apparently we can't count on James Harden here in the fourth quarter. Guess it's time for you to step up. That was awesome. There was a lot of bad moments for superstars last night. Those two guys and then Kyrie Irving.
So I guess one of the new bumper tracks would be perfect here for the Harden thing because the title of the song is Save It for Later. That must be what he was doing in the fourth quarter.
He's saving it for the next team he plays for because he's not going to be Kyrie is. Oh, were you talking about Harden?
I was talking about Harden.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, fourth quarter last night for Harden. He's just saving it for Game 6.
Save it for Game 6 when we get back home.
We could win tonight, but you know what? I'm going to save it.
No. These points will be better used at home.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Is in stock are $5,000 off, and you get 2.9% interest for 60 months. And we've got over 100 new Rogues and Altimas to choose from. At Kraft Nissan, Pathfinders and Muranos are up to $8,000 off. And Titans, with America's best truck warranty, 5 years or 100,000 miles bumper to bumper, are up to $12,000 off. Seriously, at Kraft Nissan, Memorial Day savings are today and every day this month, with huge savings all month long. Plus, Nissan is blowing away the competition with special low interest rates and rebates. You get both. No wonder Tallahassee Tallahassee is a Nissan town, a Kraft Nissan town. And Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Interest rates with approved credit through NMAC.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
At Dell, we know running a small business takes hard work. As a thank you, for all of Small Business Month, we're offering up to 45% off select computers with Intel Core processors. Plus, get additional savings when you call a Dell Small Business Technology Advisor. Call 877-BUY-DELL today. That's 877-BUY-DELL. Additional savings valid May 6th through 30th at 8 a.m. Eastern on select computers from customer calls Dell. Excludes Dell Canvas, PowerEdge T30, and select order codes.
Roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
It's been many months since Hurricane Michael devastated our area. Many people are still dealing with the damages and finding it hard to get a local contractor to contact them. Are you struggling with getting assistance to fix your damages? Are you feeling like your insurance company is not being fair? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, we can help. My name is Travis, owner of T-Spark Enterprises, and I'm asking you to give us a call today for your free consultation. Let my company guide you through the process to get your home back to normal.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Get mom a great gift from Kohl's and get a little something for yourself. $10 Kohl's Cash for every $50 spent. Give her a Philosophy Amazing Grace bath gift set, just $55, and get $10 Kohl's Cash. Or a Diamond Heart pendant, only $109.99, and you'll get $20 Kohl's Cash. Plus, take $10 off your $50 or more Mother's Day gift purchase, Thursday through Sunday at Kohl's. Select styles, $10 offer valid May 1st through 12th with promo code MOMSDAY10. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Former Magic and Pacers head coach Frank Vogel will interview for the Lakers head coaching job. Ty Lue turned down a 3-year offer from the team. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski says the aura around the Lakers is changing.
Everybody in the league knows if the Lakers are run right, you can't beat them. If you run the Lakers right, everybody wants to play there. Coaches want to coach there. It's the premier franchise in the league. Guys want to play in L.A. They want to play under the banners. And the arrival of LeBron James, who I think at the time some thought this was the beginning of a renaissance for the organization, that it was going to be a destination place again in free agency, that hasn't happened. And they're looking at a July free agency where they're not the front runner for any of the big stars.
Adrian Wojnarowski on Golic and Wingo. Kevin Durant of the Warriors is having an MRI today on his strained right calf. He left last night's Game 5 win against the Rockets in the third quarter. Coach Steve Kerr told The Athletic it's unlikely Durant will play in Game 6 tomorrow night in Houston. We've got an NBA playoff doubleheader on ESPN and the ESPN app starting at 8 Eastern tonight. 2 potential series-clinching games. First, Raptors and 76ers in Philadelphia with Toronto leading 3-2. Then the Nuggets and Trailblazers in Portland with Denver leading 3-2. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final tonight in Boston with the Bruins hosting the Hurricanes. Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy will serve a 1-game suspension for an illegal hit to the head of Blue Jackets winger Josh Anderson on Monday. From baseball, the Giants put catcher Buster Posey on the 7-day concussion list.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
the end of the day, we gotta play that.
You will all, if you're driving around town, drive with a smile on your face. It's impossible not to feel just better about the day after listening to this.
If you get a chance when you get home, we'll play this for you. But when you get home and you're not driving, you got to watch the video too, just because that old man is the best. He is so excited. He's like a little kid. Woo. You know, a lot of times that's what gets sapped from the game is the joy, right? You know, because so many other things happen outside of the game that lead to the cynicism I'm talking about.
Especially with what we do, yeah.
Yeah, and so when I see it, the pure joy of sport and happiness, whether it's in a player or, in this case, two announcers, it warms the heart because it's still there. And that guy's old. He is so excited. We'll play it in a little bit. But I've grown to where I do appreciate it, even in when it happens for teams I don't care for, or if they're good fans, or it's a player that you can root for. Then you like to see the pure joy. Something upsetting here. News just kind of coming across the wire as we're on the air with Telvin Smith, of course, Florida State's own and current Jacksonville Jaguar, announced on his Instagram feed today, just moments ago, that he's not going to play football in 2019. He led the Jaguars, of course, in tackles each of the last two seasons. He had 134 of them last year.
Well, and in the lead up to today's announcement, there was controversy out of Jacksonville because Tom Coughlin was calling out Telvin Smith for not being there for workouts. And the league had to remind Jacksonville that this is a voluntary
workout, yeah. Yeah, they had to remind Tom Coughlin to stop being an ass is what that was. And they did so publicly. So that tells you that, because that can be done internally. That tells you that they didn't like the message and they didn't like what he did because they shamed him.
Yes, because voluntary is voluntary. That's the CBA, man. You got to live by it.
That's the way that works. If you could, let's see, I'm having a hard time pulling this up. I will. That storyline, I just wanted to read further. I know that he is citing being with family and getting his health right as the reason that he is going to take a year off from playing football. He did certainly tell everybody in Jacksonville that he loves them, and when he decides to retire from football, he wants it to be there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, so when it first came out, I Matthew told me, and I thought, ooh, is he trying to power play his way out of Jacksonville because of the issues that they had?
Right, yeah.
But I do have it in front of me in case you need it.
Yeah, no, that's I ended up finding it out here too. They're trying to put this in context, and I want to read from his feed there. It was said to me from a great coach that in order to be for the man to be his best, he must get his world in order. At this time, I must take time away from the game and get my world in order. I must give this time back to myself, my family, and my health. I appreciate all the support. I will and will not get. I just ask y'all to respect my decision to not play football this season. I know the rumors of trade talk came about, but I started my career in Jacksonville, and the day I do decide to call it quits, it will be right here in Duval. I love y'all, and even in my time off, it's 10 toes down. Y'all feel me? Love. All right, so getting his life in order.
Yeah, I must give this time back to myself, my family, and my health. Hope everything is okay.
Me too, because Telvin Smith is easy to root for. He's a whale of a football player, passionate. He has a love of the game and the sport that you would want from your leaders. When I talk a lot, and I have in the last couple of years, as I've come to understand this a little bit better for varying reasons, about both leadership and passion and love for something that you're involved in and how that rubs off on every facet of the organization you work for and the people you work with. And Telvin's one of those guys, right? That's a guy that here was a big part of why we won the national championship and why the locker room was the way that it was. And Telvin never got in trouble, and he practiced and played hard.
Well, and he surged up the depth chart the typical way because his freshman year he played mostly special teams, and he was a standout there. And I remember, don't quote me if it's the wrong camp, but I believe it was the spring camp of 2011. We had a media availability when I was working on the beat, and he went third person on us. And I thought, oh, my God.
Here we go.
Listen to this guy out of Valdosta. He hasn't even started routinely yet, and he's going third person. Well, guess what? He was the type of guy who could back it up, and he could back it up and then some. And we even had the storyline where Jimbo was indignant because they had him at Mike, and the weight was just very, very light. Well, we kept asking
about him. Yeah, he's so small. Yeah.
What about Jonathan Vilma? And that's what he'd always get mad about. That he's at the bottom of the pile. He's around the football. He's always at the bottom of the pile, not around the pile. Was his retort, and Jimbo was right about that because Telvin was the exception, not the rule.
Very few players can run around blocks and get away with it. It's a maddening habit that if your linebackers insist on doing it, you have to get them off the field. We were undersized last year at linebacker, and we had guys that couldn't take on blocks. We had guys that got blown up when they did take on blocks. We had guys that didn't run fit well. Our linebackers, in short, were damn sorry last year. And when I see it, I ordinarily get enraged because you just can't have it from a Mike linebacker. And I worried about it. I remember it. But then there are those that are so fast, preternaturally fast for the position, that they can actually get around running around blocks and instead of taking them on. And he is one of the few players that has played fast enough to be able to run around blocks and get back into position to make a tackle, and does so with ferocity. And so his size does not play against him at all.
We've had a lot of good players, even though it's been some really tough times here the last few years. But we've had a lot of good players since LaMarcus and Telvin left. But the way those two closed on tackles and the way they just tackled, the pure form of it, I mean, I don't think we've had, even with Ramsey and Derwin James being the leaders of some really good players we've had, they were the best. Watching them close the gap and to do so with the speed they did and the form, I mean, it was your ass, man. They weren't going to miss.
It's ruined me for linebackers, for us, because – or really just defensive play in general. We haven't been very good for some time, and now I try to compare that closing speed you're referencing. If you go back and watch the 2013 season, obviously culminates with a national championship and all of that, but watch some of those games, and you'll see tackles in closing speed that first of all, I hadn't seen it outside of like Derek Brooks and a couple other guys here. Really, you don't see that sort of thing, but we had it in droves on that team. There were guys that either for their size did things you shouldn't be able to do, or were freakishly strong, or in some cases both. That LaMarcus Joyner has a tackle against Clemson that it's like you could tell who is it at quarterback? What's his face? Sorry ass.
Taj Boyd.
Taj Boyd. Yeah,
I got to do it.
He did get to do it. Taj Boyd didn't think LaMarcus could get there that fast. He turns his back to him, which you don't do, but he turns his back to him, and it's like 0 to 100. It happens so quick. He doesn't even get his hand cocked to throw the ball. It's just sort of starting to come up, and no, I'm here. There was a suddenness to that defense.
Yeah, even Terrence Brooks, who's a forgotten man on that team.
Just a suddenness to the way they played. And so now when I watch us play, unfairly, it's comparing and contrasting to that team.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting around like, God, none of these guys would have sniffed the field on that defense.
It's like the one hit that Matthew Thomas delivered against Michigan was what we were used to in a game. But it's like what we were used to with that team.
I'm glad you brought that up because he's responsible for 2 great hits.
Both in that building.
Yeah. And when you knock the tooth out of the starting quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes, it's a beautiful thing.
Because you've had enough of our guy getting abused.
Enough.
Yeah, we need more of that.
This is how we're going to handle things right here.
Maybe McCray at the second level can be somebody.
There's a possibility. I like that kid. And the spring game maybe doesn't reveal a ton of things. The 2 things it did reveal to me was that he looks like a player. There's a quickness to Phil. He's physical. He's a big, strong kid.
Wide body for it,
big, strong kid. So he didn't look like the problems we had at the position a year ago. He looks like a solution. So that's a good thing. And that was the number one thing I got excited about in the spring game. And the second thing I got real excited about in the spring game is the receivers and their routes, the complementary routes. They seem to have a clue. Everybody seemed to have an understanding of how this works. And they got lined up properly. There wasn't mass confusion, looking around, movement right before the snap or any of that stuff that we saw all of last year. So they shored some things up in terms of organization, basic understanding of the concepts, what we're trying to do, and getting lined up, people knowing where they're supposed to be. I know it's a low bar, but we needed to reach it. So we got to it. There was that. And then there's Jaleel McCray on the other side, which you brought up. And I came out of that stadium thinking, that's my guy right there.
Yep.
That's badass.
Now let's go develop that guy. So can I ask a quick history question for you? I mean, it stands to reason the answer is yes because of the career he had in the NFL, but you brought up Derek Brooks and suddenness to the game.
Woo!
It was aware. I mean, it was apparent, I should say, in college that he had that, even for the positions he was playing.
Yeah, he was undersized. That's why I brought him up, because Telvin kind of got compared in a way. I mean, it's unfair to Telvin because Derek is one of the best.
But I know what I saw with Telvin, and obviously I know all of Derek Brooks' professional career, and I was just a young kid who was a Noel fan.
He was unbelievable.
But you knew it as you were watching it?
Yeah, he was a missile. The only question you had about Derek Brooks was whether or not he was big enough at the next level to do that, right? To affect the game that way, to hit people, because he hit people hard. He was a guy that played very physically for being quote unquote undersized at the position. So all anybody was worried about wasn't athleticism or smarts or instincts or anything like that. It was, well, what will he do at the next level? Remember, the game back then was played with fullbacks. So you were going to have to take on guys. You were going to have to make plays against 250-pound guys leading the way. And could you do that?
Well, one narrative that I heard, and I guess I just adopted because I heard it so much, was he was a pretty good college football player, but he was a Hall of Famer in the NFL. Like he was better at the NFL level than he was at college. Do you think that's fair?
Well, if you're a Hall of Fame NFL player, I think that's fair, but he was an elite college football player and seen as such nationally. He was known as an elite college football player. It's just that his pro career was Hall of Fame, and it's so good that you go, well, he was a better pro than he was in college. Well, yeah, he is a Hall of Fame linebacker, one of the best to ever play. I guess that's fair to say, but it wasn't like he was average in college. He was elite in college, and I saw every game he played here, and I remember sitting in the stands thinking, whoo, well, that's different.
You felt safer with him on the field?
Yes, you did. Hey, they're some of my favorite players in Florida State lore certainly are linebackers, two of them, in fact, and they were different kinds of players. But, yeah, Shade was a...
Well, the biggest compliment to a player in any sport is when they come off the playing surface and you feel alone inside. You're like, well, no.
Yeah, and there are simple things, too, that running backs say about linebackers that let you know they're the truth. Lawrence Timmons was described that way by a couple running backs that talked about why not take him on, and you don't front to Timmons like that. That was the answer.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
So I've got two questions, and the first one I'm going to ask you about is the state championship. What made this year, this team so special?
If I had to use one word, I would say resiliency. We preached that word from the first day of practice, that no matter what happens, we as a group need to stick together, and we need to form a brotherhood that is so tight that nothing can break us. And our group was talented, but I think what made them so special is that they were resilient when things got hard. Instead of severing and breaking apart, they instead came together even stronger. And then also selfless, that this group put the team above themselves in a way that I have hardly ever seen in sports, whether it be on the high school, college, or pro level. And I think that's what made this year's 2019 state champions at JP2 so special.
It sounds like even though you built a culture, a championship culture at that, at JP2, it doesn't just come from the basketball program itself.
JP2 is a wonderful family environment. It is a school that prides itself in helping students develop and form in mind, body, and spirit. It truly is a family atmosphere.
For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Get mom a great gift from Kohl's and get a little something for yourself. $10 Kohl's Cash for every $50 spent. Give her a Philosophy Amazing Grace bath gift set, just $55, and get $10 Kohl's Cash. Or a Diamond Heart pendant, only $109.99, and you'll get $20 Kohl's Cash. Plus, take $10 off your $50 or more Mother's Day gift purchase, Thursday through Sunday at Kohl's. Select styles, $10 offer valid May 1st through 12th with promo code MOMSDAY10. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Just like football, when it comes to the court of law, you're going to need a solid defense. I'm Michael D. Blank, attorney with the Law Office of Jose Fernandez in Tallahassee. At the Law Office of Jose Fernandez, there is never an upfront fee, and if we don't recover, then you don't pay anything. Our team is dedicated to handling all types of accident, injury, negligence, malpractice, and wrongful death cases. If you're unable to come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, for your free consultation today. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. GRFinjury.com. Go Knowles.
And now, an ad from Mom.
Save money on car insurance by bundling home and auto with Progressive. And cut. Oh, that was good. So, are there any other things you need me to talk about, or I could do an ad for something I really like lotion? You know, I am just a nut for lotion.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com. Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Former Magic and Pacers head coach Frank Vogel will interview for the Lakers head coaching job. Ty Lue turned down a 3-year offer from the team. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski says the aura around the Lakers is changing.
Everybody in the league knows if the Lakers are run right, you can't beat them. If you run the Lakers right, everybody wants to play there. Coaches want to coach there. It's the premier franchise in the league. Guys want to play in L.A. They want to play under the banners. And the arrival of LeBron James, who I think at the time some thought this was the beginning of a renaissance for the organization, that it was going to be a destination place again in free agency. That hasn't happened, and they're looking at a July free agency where they're not the front runner for any of the big stars.
Adrian Wojnarowski on Golic and Wingo. Kevin Durant of the Warriors is having an MRI today on his strained right calf. He left last night's Game 5 win against the Rockets in the third quarter. Coach Steve Kerr told The Athletic it's unlikely Durant will play in Game 6 tomorrow night in Houston. We've got an NBA playoff doubleheader on ESPN and the ESPN app starting at 8 Eastern tonight. 2 potential series-clinching games. First, Raptors and 76ers in Philadelphia with Toronto leading 3-2. Then the Nuggets and Trailblazers in Portland with Denver leading 3-2. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final tonight in Boston with the Bruins hosting the Hurricanes. Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy will serve a 1-game suspension for an illegal hit to the head of Blue Jackets winger Josh Anderson on Monday. From baseball, the Giants put catcher Buster Posey on the 7-day concussion list.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. I forgot to ask you, by the way, we were talking basketball, we were talking baseball last hour.
Basketball.
And I didn't mention anything about your Colorado team that...
What, the offsides call?
No, I just was wondering what you thought about all that.
I thought it was, it's just a doomsday scenario in the first period. You lose your star player, and it looks like he's got a broken collarbone or something. And then San Jose scores a couple of goals with him not available. Then they get their star back, and they make it a game. The offside call, the controversy around that, there's no controversy to me. I think he's offside. It's a dumb rule, but it's the rule. But that was a really good series, and now I was going to root for the winner of that series to hoist the cup, so... Go Sharks.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll be watching Carolina and Boston with some sort of interest, but that is tough. It's tough, isn't it?
You can't put two teams together, I don't think, in the East, because I just don't like Boston, and you talk about indifferent teams. Remember we mentioned the Cardinals. You mentioned the Cardinals last hour if you turn down Dallas.
Oh, if you turn down Dallas and then went to
That's like the Carolina Hurricanes in hockey. It's like, I'm not going to go play for Toronto. I'm going to go play for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Hurt your feelings, right? Well, I don't like being in a position where we're this far along into the playoffs in hockey, and I'm kind of like, I guess. All right.
This is not a good bracket for the NHL. This is
San Jose, St. Louis, Boston, and Carolina, no. Well, you had a New York team get swept by a team in Carolina. Not good for the league. And then, I don't know that too many people are passionate about San Jose. I know St. Louis has great fans, but
you lost Washington
nationally.
You lost Crosby and Ovechkin in the first round,
and you lost a team that set NHL records to a 4-0 sweep in the first series.
Yeah, sure did. The West, though, played out actually. If you look at my bracket that I did for NHL.com, I got everything but one little detail right.
Look at you, buddy.
I had the West down. I had the East all dead wrong. I had Boston winning the first round. That was it.
It's pretty easy to understand how you had the East wrong since you probably took the Tampa Bay Lightning to win a game.
I had Washington and Pittsburgh coming out of the first round, 0-2 there.
How about we win a game? God, I wonder what you could have got, what the odds would have been if you had taken Columbus to sweep the Lightning.
Plus,
could you get that bet?
Plus 6,000 with like a max of $10. Even still.
I was reading, give credit where credit's due here, Gene Williams and Ira Chaffel on a warchant.com segment talking about the offensive line. And they've just posted it like 30 minutes ago, and I'm looking at this going, man, the numbers there are staggering. How frequently our line A changed and B, how many times our quarterbacks got hit. And I don't like that it stops being my tracks when we've moved on. It's the off season. The news is good every day. We get another recruit. They've got problems down in Hogtown every day. Another person is arrested and or announces they're transferring. All this is good. It was a quality spring game. I feel better and better every day. And then somebody writes an offensive line story.
I'd say just embrace how negative you feel, and then at some point realize and know, for the people out there, that we're going to give you that Liverpool audio too.
Well, I want to play that. Let's do that now. It's just so funny. It's an opening segment, I know. I'm supposed to lay it out there. We talked a lot about the basketball. I'll get back to it in a moment. But basketball can be summed up pretty easily last night. You had stars failing to be stars for teams that, you kind of expect that Kyrie Irving's going to show up in a big game like that. He doesn't. It's really just kind of continued a trend of the season and really the postseason for Boston after those first 5 games. So anyhow, that happens, and Harden disappears in the fourth quarter, and Kevin Durant got hurt. So there you go. That's it in a nutshell. Now we move on from that, and we say, here's something that will make you smile. Here's the Liverpool broadcast team from the game on Tuesday, which was monumental.
3-0, right? So
here you go, and watch let's listen to this.
Good evening, everybody. A pleasure and a privilege, as always, to be at Anfield, where we are hoping for another miracle like Istanbul. Shaqiri in his own half, rolls it square towards Matip. Virgil van Dijk only just coming back now. It stayed forward. Matip looks for a ball up to Mane. Mistake. Mane entered the area. Great skill. Henderson's in the box. Henderson saved it. Yes! Divock Origi. Would you believe it? Alexander-Arnold beats Albert on the right-hand side.
No one in the
Only
middle.
Mane in the box. Trent's cross. Wijnaldum! Yes! Gini Wijnaldum scores! It's another assist for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Anfield absolutely erupts. 2-0. Shaqiri at the back post has just gone outside the box. Liverpool keep it going.
There's men in the
Patient,
box.
though,
Good
guys.
delivery.
Milner from the left. Lovely reverse ball.
Delivery.
Shaqiri on the left.
What a
Brilliant
ball.
cross. This is unbelievable. This is delirium. Anfield, have you ever heard noise like this? Out again to Alexander-Arnold. Up against Sergio Roberto. Still Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, corner, well done, son. Well done.
Done really well, Trent.
Yeah,
Corner.
well done.
12 minutes to go in normal time. Liverpool 3-0. Corner taken quickly. Origi! He's given it! Unbelievable! Divock Origi! Oh my word! Yes! This is extraordinary. Last night we were all feeling so down, weren't we? Let's be honest. But well, listen to that. I don't need words to tell you what that means.
It's music to my ears, Steve.
Milner trying to win a corner, but Milner's been pushed to the ground.
Yes!
Yes! We've done it!
Yes!
Liverpool!
Yes!
The Champions League final in Madrid! It's our greatest comeback of all time at Anfield!
Oh, that's great. If you watch the video, it's even better. They're just little kids. I mean, they're like little kids. That old man is so pumped.
So first of all, yes, that video is fantastic because you could tell they love each other too on the broadcast.
Well, they're hugging and holding each other's arms.
Like grabbing each other's arms because they're trying to be professional. But then the other thing that it really gives me an appreciation for Gene Deckerhoff's call of Winston to Benjamin, because you've seen that video too.
And William Floyd's yelling, yes, and he's jumping all around.
But Gene keeps it together.
He keeps it together.
He keeps it completely together. He looks for the play sheet. He looks for like the names and stuff. He's looking at time. I mean, he is locked the hell in that moment of bedlam because the entire radio booth is going nuts. Whereas this booth is just two dudes.
And they're great.
And they are great.
Klopp, the manager there, afterwards had one of the great press conferences too, and talked about. I mean, he used mentality, belief, heart, and some luck repeatedly in talking about what happened there. But it's pretty cool because his last quote he told reporters was, "This club is like a big heart, and it was pounding like crazy. You could hear it all over the world, I tell you." Oh, that's awesome. That is cool. So you see that video and you watch those guys and you watch those fans and you get that description is perfect. Just perfect. Yeah, I was laughing too because there's a little lack of professionalism in that clearly some of the reporters in that room also root for them because the one guy was tearing up when he said that. He's like, it's like, are you a reporter?
Now, coach, what does it mean to you to win today?
His voice cracks as he's asking the question.
Because it means a lot to me, coach. You're one hell of a manager.
A thunderous night in Anfield indeed. All right, well, we'll move on from that. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
It's back. The 11th annual Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boating Center Red Trout Shootout Fishing Tournament, presented by United Rentals on May 18th. This year, compete for a guaranteed purse of over $10,000 paid out in cash to the top 10 teams weighing in the heaviest combined weight of one redfish and one sea trout. Get registered today by stopping in at Bass Pro Shops or log on to redtroutshootout.com. Save $20 per angler if you register by May 12th. It's the Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boating Center Red Trout Shootout on May 18th.
Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Are you starting a new business or expanding your business? Looking for the right general contractor to assist you with a tenant space build-out? Look no further. From restaurant to retail, we have the experience to work with you. At T-Spark Enterprises, we are ready to be a part of your vision and build a space that exceeds your expectations. Whether you're looking for design build or build from your own design, give us a call today for a free consultation. As the owner of T-Spark Enterprises, I guarantee when it comes to your business space, we only provide picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help.
Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
A team of astrophysicists analyzing meteorite isotopes and simulations of the Milky Way have determined that some valuable metals, including gold and platinum, Tom, were created by a collision between two neutron stars 1,000 light years away and over 4.6 billion years ago. To quote Carl Sagan, we and our jewelry are made of star stuff. Pretty amazing, huh?
That is fantastic. Yeah. So it is a precious metal, quite literally.
Yeah. Yay, science on all turns. But that's, I like throwing out the old 4.6 billion. Well, my goodness.
How'd you pinpoint that? Why not 0.7?
Well, you can read the entire story on CNET. You there you go. You can find out everything you need to know about how this happened. Your wedding ring came from a neutron star explosion 4.6 billion years ago. And that story is lengthier than what I just quoted because I got to the nuts and bolts of it.
That's right.
I needed to get right to it. There is a lot more to it, though, obviously, and fascinating it is. And you go down that rabbit hole, you'll be there for days. I know.
That's like what I was doing in the break myself when you were in here. Albert Pujols has crossed the 2,000 RBI threshold today, apparently. And Babe Ruth, if you look at one recognized record, does not actually get up to 2,000 because RBI was not a stat until 1920. But if you look at baseballreference.com, you'll see that he, in fact, according to their records, has 2,200. There was a page on saber.org that goes through the true RBI total for Babe Ruth, and I was just looking for a 72-point font number, 2,000 and what?
Yeah, just one number, yeah.
Instead, there was about 3,000 words on how they got there. I was like, man, just give me the damn number, please. Baseball Reference will do that, though.
I have a question. They did officially, of course, right the ship. So who is the all-time leader there in that number, RBIs?
I believe it's Henry Aaron.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I thought so, too, but I began to worry when you said that there are entire seasons that weren't counted.
Well, yeah, I mean, Babe Ruth was playing in the mid-teens.
No, I know that, yeah. So how many other guys were – but they have remedied that officially.
I don't believe it's recognized on baseball's list because I've seen that Albert Pujols has passed Babe Ruth this year, I thought, on several programs. So I think the stat heads have it one way and maybe MLB's record book has
Well, let's get it together. MLB, we have the ability to go back. That's how Baseball Reference does it. You go look at box scores from those games before 1920. It's rather easily done. I mean.
Yeah, MLB stats. Here you go. So that's the official MLB page where they put up little infographics and video stats. The 2000 RBI club, there's only 3 people, and the 3 people, according to MLB, are Hank Aaron, Alex Rodriguez, and Albert Pujols. Babe Ruth is not on the MLB list. However, go to baseballreference.com, and you'll see he has 2,200 and change.
Yeah, let's get it together here, man. This is not a guess. This is not hard. Go back and look at those box scores. I know they have, and they've had to incorporate his stats from all the other stats, Tom, because Babe Ruth owns the record for highest slugging percentage.
Yes, he does, and highest ops. He opts to 1,100.
1164 is what he opts. Yes.
Henry Aaron's RBI record is 2,297.
Did you know Barry Bonds holds 10 major league records?
Oh, about what? Like on base percentage and. Single season records, of course, he's got a bevy, but you're talking about career?
Most walks, most intentional walks, most runs created. He has, he's got a bunch of records. If you go through all of these, you'll find him. Most home runs, obviously, if you're going to count those.
I'm sure if they had StatCast and they had hard hit ball rates, he would have astronomically set those records. He hardly ever saw a pitch, and he walloped 74 of them out of the park.
That season is so cartoonishly silly that you go back and look at numbers for a little 4-year stretch and you go, my God, those were good steroids.
Wonder what the exit velocity was in some of those.
He had, here's the weirdest thing. When we talk about baseball and we talk about what they should do with the steroid era and the players who either A, got caught or either admitted it openly or privately and then it got exposed in some way or another like it did with Bonds, what gets lost is that most of the time the player himself was already a Hall of Famer several of the players in question were Hall of Famers and would have been anyhow. I say that to say this, not to give them a pass for using steroids and not to count their numbers necessarily, but when a guy uses steroids so that he can make it to the majors, you probably never even think about him if he's just an also-ran who happens to make a club. These are the guys that we hear talking all the time about, hey, I'm forced to do this just to compete. It's been my lifelong dream. I wish baseball would get better at this so that I don't have to take these things. It's one thing, and you just completely probably don't even really realize those guys, those fringe players are doing that. When a guy who's one of the best 50 players of all time decides I'm going all in on steroids, then you get that. You get numbers that are so astounding as to not be believed. Like, steroids don't help you square up a baseball. So Bonds was so freakishly talented to begin with and maturing and owning his craft and bettering himself in terms of understanding the zone, doing the Ted Williams approach to hitting, right? That once he decided to go all in on the juice, and as he matured and got better at pitch recognition and understanding what he did in each part of the zone, then you get those numbers, those asinine numbers where they couldn't even pitch to him.
So is Sammy Sosa a top 50 ball player of all time?
No. I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying you'll find.
I mean, the consistency with which he hit tons of home runs in that era is alarming. I mean, 40, 36, 66, 63, 50, 64, 49. I mean, that's a hell of a run.
It's a good run on steroids indeed. Give me his age 24, 25, 26 season.
Age 24, he played in 159 games for the Chicago Cubs. He hit 33 home runs, drove in 93. 25 years old, he played just 105 games for the Cubs. He had 25 home runs and 70 RBI. And at 26, he played 144, 36 home runs, and 119 in the runs driven in department.
What year is it when he's 26 years old?
When he's, 95.
Okay. Give me 27 through 30.
27. All right, so I'm not going to do the games count. So, sorry, what age are you? 27?
27, yeah.
40 and 100 when he's 28, 36 and 119. When he's 29, 66, 158.
Okay, there it is.
He's in his prime, 29.
Well, no, I was waiting for the number. I wanted to see where we went from 40, 33, 28, 43 to 66. Okay, got it.
Well, from 24 to 28 years old, he goes 33, 25, 36, 40, 36. I mean, he's going to be, I don't know.
He's going to be an all-star player.
Maybe a Hall of Famer?
Oh, maybe, don't know. Would have had many more years of having to play like that to do it, but who knows? We'll never know because clearly the next year is when he decides to use steroids because he goes to 66, did you say?
66.
Yeah,
36 to 66.
Yeah, we're done here.
And it's 63, 50, 64, 49, 40, 35.
Yeah. So we know when he decided the time is now.
Oh, my God, that's right. He played for both Baltimore and the Rangers.
Oh, well, he was a skinny lad with a jerry curl with the Rangers. Go look at the old footage of him there. He's skinny. His pants are too tight. He's got a kick-ass jerry curl.
He played in 114. Well, I'm talking about age 38 season. He had one more. He had one swan song with them in 2007.
Go back to the beginning of his career when he was with the Rangers, though.
Yeah, he played, looks like, 25 games with the Rangers before he went to the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
He hit one home run in those 25 games.
He's like $150. It's fun to watch. Quick question. You know who owns the lowest ERA for I think this is for a career. Or this has to be for a season. Yeah, Ed Walsh. Ever heard of Ed Walsh?
No, what year?
He was an American pitcher, later on a manager in Major League Baseball from 1906 to 1912. Mm-hmm. Several seasons where he was the best pitcher in baseball. Injuries shortened his career. He holds the all-time record for lowest career earned run average. You know what it is?
Lowest career?
Earned run average. Played just 6 seasons from 1906 to 1912.
1.17.
1.82.
Okay. It's not. It's ridiculous, but it's not that ridiculous.
Well, here's what I was thinking. Most of these records, a lot of them, like when you say most strikeouts, a lot of people will get Nolan Ryan. They'll say, Nolan Ryan. They'll throw it out there. You might get, Cy Young with wins. People get that right.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it occurs to me that nobody probably knows Ed Walsh. I shouldn't say nobody. You got your diehards.
Tim Kirkjian. He'd be mad that people don't know it.
Sure. And Keith Olbermann and Bob Costas and any number of people. Those kinds of guys, I'm sure, know it. But we're pretty passionate baseball fans, by the way.
Tim's a little different than the other two, though.
A little different person, yes.
Yeah.
But all very knowledgeable about the game of baseball, without question, and its record books. But you and I are passionate about baseball, and most hardcore baseball fans know the meaningful and meaty records, home runs, RBIs, whatever it might be, right? ERA, which is no longer nearly as important a stat, independent ERA is, but, as it once was, as it carried the day for pitchers. And how many guys do you think you would walk up to and say, are you a big baseball fan? I am. And then you tested their knowledge and they revealed it to be pretty knowledgeable baseball fans. Would you say, who holds the all-time lowest career ERA? I don't know anybody that would say Ed Walsh.
You'd get into the hundreds before somebody. You'd run into an old-timer who just knows these things. But, yeah. Hundreds of people.
I don't, it just occurs to me. I had no idea. We learned something here today, kids.
I'm trying to lock it in. You know how you do that with, this is valuable information. Keep this.
Well,
Ed Walsh.
most saves, Mariano Rivera, most wins, Cy Young, by the way, Cy Young also owns most losses. How ridiculous is this? Cy Young was a career 5'11 and 316.
Oh, my goodness.
Woo! Different era of baseball.
That's a lot of decisions.
That's a lot of times that he remained on the mound, I'm sure, well over 150 pitches.
But isn't that a really good trivia question? So you're out at a bar, it's like the sports category, and everybody goes, oh, the guys are going to get this one, whatever. And they say, who's got the lowest ERA? And you go, ooh. Cy Young? Nolan. I mean, it's not Nolan, but
it would be tough, right?
Right. Now you won't look funny, guys, because the answer is Ed Walsh. Remember that.
I guarantee you people would say Cy Young or Walter Johnson. One of those two guys, right? You and I would be arguing over that.
I can't wait to ask my dad when I see him this weekend, because I'll bet you he says Walter Johnson.
He should.
I'll say, no, Ed Walsh, Dad. Look it up.
Well, the reason you would say Walter Johnson is he has, I think, the most career shutouts, if I recall that correctly. So he, not most wins, that's Cy Young, but most career shutouts. So you would think, oh, well, he was a badass. He had to have the lowest ERA. But no, it's Ed freaking Walsh. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. And he looks like a guy that played from 1906 to 1912. I love those pictures.
He died in 17.
Rode hard, put up wet, probably went to work in the factory at age 7 smoking cigarettes.
It's funny. Tampa's like a time capsule in that sense. You go down to Dale
Everybody
Mabry.
rode hard, put up wet, baby. Getting tall boys and natural light at noon to go back to work.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Ball hit high in the air, right center field. Verdugo back. That ball is gone. Ronald Acuna to right center with a 2-run blast. And the Braves do dent the scoreboard. It's 3-2.
That got the Braves on the board, but LA came roaring back against A.J. Minter in the 7th and Jacob Webb in the 9th to pad their lead. Atlanta was swept for the 3rd time this season and dropped a game below 500 as a result. Braves will open up a 4-game series against Arizona tonight. Mike Soroka faces Luke Weaver in the opener. First pitch is set for 9:40, 8:40 Central. I'm Grant McCauley with your Atlanta Braves Radio Network update.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Shot side, Rivas scores!
The playoffs are here. The Corner Pocket is your home all spring long for all the heart-pounding moments in the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's held in a shot, safe,
The Corner Pocket on Appalachia Parkway next to Earth Fair is your headquarters for FSU and Major League Baseball. Trivia Tuesdays, beer bingo Thursdays, and of course, all the moments you'll never forget.
For the championship!
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Every day, vegetables are ripped from the earth, sliced, diced, even something called julienne. But for just $5 a day, you can help. Get 2 Hardee's Original Roast Beef Sandwiches for just $5. Slow-cooked beef, hand-dipped in rich au jus, each prepared without harming a single vegetable. So come to Hardee's, get 2 Original Roast Beef Sandwiches, and save the veggies. Hardee's, because it tastes better. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop is proud to support those who serve us daily. As a way of saying thank you, Jerry's is launching a new discount program for active and retired law enforcement, first responders, and military. Stop by and pick up your free discount card today at either of Jerry's 2 locations, one on Scherer Road or their new location on Cary Forest Parkway. Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop, online at jerrycigarshop.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Former Magic and Pacers head coach Frank Vogel will interview for the Lakers head coaching job. Ty Lue turned down a 3-year offer from the team. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski says the aura around the Lakers is changing.
Everybody in the league knows if the Lakers are run right, you can't beat them. If you run the Lakers right, everybody wants to play there. Coaches want to coach there. It's the premier franchise in the league. Guys want to play in LA. They want to play under the banners. And the arrival of LeBron James, who I think at the time some thought this was the beginning of a renaissance for the organization, that it was going to be a destination place again in free agency, that hasn't happened. And they're looking at a July free agency where they're not the front runner for any of the big stars.
Adrian Wojnarowski on Golic and Wingo. Kevin Durant of the Warriors is having an MRI today on his strained right calf. He left last night's Game 5 win against the Rockets in the third quarter. Coach Steve Kerr told The Athletic it's unlikely Durant will play in Game 6 tomorrow night in Houston. We've got an NBA playoff doubleheader on ESPN and the ESPN app starting at 8 Eastern tonight. 2 potential series-clinching games. First, Raptors and 76ers in Philadelphia with Toronto leading 3-2. Then the Nuggets and Trailblazers in Portland with Denver leading 3-2. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final tonight in Boston with the Bruins hosting the Hurricanes. Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy will serve a 1-game suspension for an illegal hit to the head of Blue Jackets winger Josh Anderson on Monday. From baseball, the Giants put catcher Buster Posey on the 7-day concussion list.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Always fun to at least acknowledge it. It is Marshall McDougal Day. May 9th, 1999. Can you believe that much time has passed? I can still remember walking with my girlfriend at the time, who was teaching at FSU, as she grabbed an FSU upon Marshall McDougal's return, and we happened to be over at campus and got his autograph on the cover of the FSU that he ended up being on. And I wonder, I haven't seen her in years, whether or not she still has it, but that was pretty cool.
It does feel like
20 years
that long ago, because we do a good job of remembering it. Like every year, it is remembered and duly honored, like as it should be. I'm not saying that in like a backhanded way. But Florida State fans, probably because it's always typically a slow time of year as well for the Florida State sports. But we do a really good job. FSU baseball, the show, local papers or website. I mean, it has been chronicled year by year, and I like that.
Yeah, May 9th, 1999, for the uninitiated. There you go. Marshall McDougal of Florida State baseball fame set NCAA records for 6 home runs and 16 RBI. That's the other part about this. After going 7 for 7. He also hit the home run cycle. So he's just it's so cool to think about. That game is one that every year we do document this. I talk about where I was down in Bradenton yelling at my stepfather, who's a UF Law grad and couldn't care less about Florida State baseball, to get into the room, please. This kid for us has 3 home runs. He's coming up again. Maybe he'll hit his 4th. Little did I know that, he would. And then his 5th and 6th home run. That's just after the 4th, we were laughing. My stepdad was laughing. He goes, "Good for that kid." And he asked me, "Have you met him?" And I said, "Oh, briefly." Because at that point, you're talking about 1999. I was on the air, Tom.
There you go.
and
you were on the air, not like for fake, man. It was for real.
Nuts, but. I was very, very new, and I remember Lee Bowen and I've told the story going over to Mike Barton. It's another reason that certainly I'm nostalgic for this weekend when Florida State plays in the last series, because Mike Barton was awfully kind to me the first time I sat in his office to discuss the upcoming season, that I was going to be the new on-air guy in the mornings, and he was gracious with his time and all of that. But that said, Marshall McDougal was on the team, and one of the first ones that I ever covered, and I couldn't have known certainly that he was going to go on to have a 6 home run game, and that's it. It's a record to me. I don't think, there's a lot of records. You never want to say never, but there's no way anybody beats that record. I remember the aftermath of that, Tom.
Maybe in college, beats it. No, but I mean, maybe in college. I don't know.
Somebody's gonna hit 7 home runs in a game.
I said maybe not beat it. Maybe,
Well, tie it. Yeah.
College is a weird thing.
The aftermath, though, Tom, of that is funny, because the story. Here's what I remember, and I know Chip Baker was on with Front Row Knowles guys last night. The aftermath of that is that people, not only did he go on Jim Rome, and it was kind of a disastrous appearance on Jim Rome because he's not that guy. But then having said that, everybody was scouring across the country, scouring baseball's record books to find out, had it ever been done anywhere? Like high school, has anybody hit 6 home runs in a game? And I'm pretty sure they found at the time that there was no record of that. Now, maybe later on they were able to unearth something that happened in some far-off league where somebody hit 7 or 8 home runs. I don't know, maybe in a doubleheader or something. But in a singular game, because you got to get up. First of all, he hits a single and then hits the home run. So he has 7 plate appearances, 7 at-bats, and a lot had to happen for him to get his last at-bat, which we didn't think would happen, and he did get up again. You had guys getting on base, getting hits, working walks, all that to get him another at-bat. But you just think about how hard that is. I don't care if you were if you were an elite baseball player and it was a middle school kid throwing the ball right down the middle in an official stadium, like a real baseball stadium, you might not see a guy with real elite baseball skill, an elite college player, hit out of the park 6 times with a middle school kid grooving a 40-mile-per-hour fastball down the heart.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's 100% true. I mean, it won't happen in the bigs. There's no chance.
No.
It never could. Not with specialization the way it is.
No.
And 6 at-bats in general in a big league game, how rare is that?
Well, and I can remember, I bring it up a lot. I remember hard-hitting Witten. I remember Bob Horner. I remember, certain guys that hit 4 home runs in a game. You're always like, whoa, God, that happened? Didn't Mike Cameron?
I feel like Mike Cameron did.
We just did this about
I
a
feel
year
like we
ago.
do this every year.
Yeah,
we say, didn't Mike Cameron do it?
He did. He had a
Yes,
4
he
home run
did.
game. It's absurd. Actually, the number of guys that have had 4 home run games shocked me.
It always takes me to that moment in my freshman year here at Florida State. I had transferred in January of 2006, and so it's the latter part of the semester, and the Mets are playing out in San Diego, as they did this past week. And Mike Cameron and Carlos Beltran collided heads in right center field, and it was a really horrifying collision. And Mike Cameron was never really the same. Carlos Beltran, of course, was okay, shook it off. But you got 2 gold glovers colliding in right center.
The way you said it made it sound like Cameron was weak for not having shaken it off.
No, I loved Mike Cameron, man. That guy
he
was a good player, like, easy guy to root for, too.
That just made me laugh. You're like, wow.
He was the one who robbed Bonds in the All-Star game, wasn't he?
Cameron, no, that was Torrey Hunter.
Oh, that was Torrey Hunter.
Torrey Hunter did that.
Number 48.
What MLB players have hit 4 home runs in a game? The list includes just 2 players with at least 500 home runs. Do you know who those 2 players are? No, you don't. Mike Schmidt, Willie Mays. You do have 7 guys who at least hit 300 home runs for their career, including Carlos Delgado, Sean Green, Gil Hodges, Lou Gehrig. It's a veritable who's who around here, right? The last to hit a 4 home run game, you know that? Happened in 2012.
2012, I don't know, Pujols?
So, actually, that's not true. The last to do it was last year, right? Didn't Scooter Gennett do it just last year?
Maybe.
I think Scooter Gennett did it last year. I think he did.
Here we go. Research department.
No,
on the fly. On the
fly. I think so. I think Scooter freaking Gennett did last year. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm telling you, I think that guy did. I always remember Josh Hamilton did it, by the way, for the Texas Rangers in 2012. Did I get it right with Scooter?
I'm still looking at it. Yes. Hits 4 home runs in one game. It was June 6th, 2017. So it was a couple years ago.
Well, damn it, man. At least I remembered that he did because it was bothering me. I was like, wait a minute, this statistical thing here is wrong. I know Scooter Gennett did it because I remember thinking, what?
All of 5'10" is Scooter. That's why they nicknamed him Scooter.
I would have never guessed that he, in fact, did that. And now that you've pulled up the story, I, too, have pulled up the story. By the way, in his career, in 5 seasons, he had hit a total of 38 home runs before hitting 4 in one game.
It was in Cincinnati, though, wasn't it?
Lucky bastard. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it's hard to hit 4 home runs in any ballpark, but if you're going to, that's a candidate.
Barry Bonds never did it, says Scooter Gennett. It's true. He never did. Hank Aaron never did it. Babe Ruth and Alex Rodriguez never did it. Scooter's like, get you some.
I also told the truth, Alex.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fees. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how long have you been involved with athletics at JP2?
So I've been involved for 8 years as a coach. I was an assistant, and then 2 years as the girls basketball coach, and then I just completed my 5th year as the boys basketball coach. I also spent my junior and senior years as a student at JP2 in the early years of the school's beginning.
What does it say, though, about the culture of an institution that you graduate from there almost 15 years ago, but here you are still spending your time back at that school?
I think it says a lot. The fact that my wife didn't graduate from JP2, but we both felt drawn back to help in some way. And we weren't even living in Tallahassee, and we always had this thought of, man, it would be so neat if I could go back and help in some way. And when I was named the coach 5 years ago, it was very special, and people thought I was crazy when I said in 5 years we're going to win a state championship. Maybe even I thought I was a little crazy, and it was just so cool to see the program develop over these last 5 years. And we've seen that in many of the sports at JP2. We have so many committed coaches, so many committed teachers that really lay it all on the line day in and day out to try to provide a great atmosphere and a lifelong positive experience for these students in their high school years.
Coach, thanks for your time. For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Not only does this taste well, if you're at Bumpa's Local 349, first of all, just saying the word lavash is awesome. It also tastes great because what it is it's topped with olive oil and garlic and Havarti cheese and Parmesan, and it's just damn delicious. But more than anything else, I'm glad it's good, because if it wasn't, I'd be so sad, because I'd want to say lavash. When they come over and they say, what do you want? I go, lavash. Listen, the menu's got burgers, it's got wings, it's got salads, it's got pastas, it's got ribs, it's got all the good stuff. It's got a bologna sandwich. It's got a bologna sandwich.
The penne alla vodka. This is interesting.
That's damn tasty.
It is damn tasty. It's not something that I'm picky when I eat.
You are.
My pop is a huge fan of penne alla vodka, and he says you got to have it done just
perfect.
Right.
Theirs is perfect.
The reputation for that has made it into 3 different conversations I've been involved in over the last 2 months in Tallahassee. It's ridiculous.
Bumpa's Local 349. Good food, good people. Go see them. They're on Capitol Circle. Good stuff.
And now, an ad from Mom.
Save money on car insurance by bundling home and auto with Progressive. And cut. Oh, that was good. So are there any other things you need me to talk about, or I could do an ad for something I really like lotion? I am just a nut for lotion.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
We were having a discussion during the break, you and I, just so you know, and this won't interest anybody else but you and me. Brad Faxon won 8 times on tour and played in 2 Ryder Cups.
Yeah, Brad, actually, he was the guy I would use on Tiger Woods' PGA Tour on the computer with the old 3-click swings, because I refused to use
Tiger. To use. Oh, yeah, you wanted to do something other than, yeah, me too.
Brad, he was one of those guys who sported the oversized visor and was one hell of a putter.
Massive visor. Absurd.
The absurd
massive
I think
visor.
Bo Hostler now wears that visor.
Good old Bo Hostler. Golf's filled with all these guys that if you are a fan of the game, that you could rattle off, quote-unquote, middling golfers all day long.
Oh, it's like when Le Batard does 90s baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like Butch Husky, and you're like, oh, wow. Butch Husky. Oh, my God.
It's just fun to think about, like, comps to certain players in every sport, but trying to get it exactly right. Like, who is a comp to Brad Faxon? Like, who's a guy that you'd say, he was an amateur champion, he's had some runner-ups, he's won 8 times on tour, really good putter. Who's a comp to Brad Faxon?
How many times has Charles Howell won?
I don't know how many times Charles Howell
But he's
won.
considered to be good around the greens, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's a horse for course, man. He loves when they're out in California.
ESPN wanted you to believe he was the best thing since sliced bread for years.
Well, they try to do that all the time.
We pulled this up, too, about Charles Howell in terms of career earnings,
Here you go. Charles Howell is never won a major. We know that, right?
Yep.
But he does have a top 10 in a major.
Congratulations to Charles.
He went to Oklahoma State. Hey, he won the Haskins Award.
Okay, and he's got 3 career victories, and he's not done yet.
3 wins.
He could win at Harbortown.
Yeah, but look at his career earnings. What are his career earnings? I'd like that number. Always blows me away and pisses me off a little bit, actually. Oh man, he's had some tough ones. He lost to Shigeki Mariyama in extra holes.
Shigeki Mariyama.
You forgot about Shigeki Mariyama.
Oh my God.
What do you think, Mike Weir? So where would you put Mike Weir here? Oh, Mike Weir won the Masters. He's got 6 PGA Tour. 8 PGA Tour victories. Mike Weir has a major and 8 PGA Tour victories. Would you have guessed that?
Yeah.
Because he's fallen off the damn map.
I would have put him at like maybe 5 or 6 career wins, but I knew he had the major. He was the one who put the jacket on Phil when Phil first won.
Yeah, I'm going to say this.
$38 million for Charles Howell in his career.
Have yourself a career. As an aside, and we'll move on from this. I've just butchered the segment because I keep talking about golfers with you between every segment. So Mike Weir won 8 times on tour, won the Masters. He tied for 3rd in the U.S. Open. So it shows you when a guy believes and when a guy doesn't. In 2003 is when he won the Masters. That same year was the year he tied for 3rd at the U.S. Open.
Oh, wow.
So in the same year he won the Masters, finished top 3 at the U.S. Open. And Mike, you can't find Mike Weir with a telescope. That guy's in Canada playing on a municipal course somewhere. I mean, good Lord.
How about Brandt Snedeker? Brandt's for a comp to Brad Faxon. Considered good putters. Brandt's got 9 PGA Tour victories. He has finished tops of the FedEx Cup.
Brandt Snedeker has 9 PGA Tour victories?
He has 9.
I would have never guessed that.
He has 1 international victory, 2 additional victories. I don't know what those are. Maybe like lowerweb.coms or something. But, I mean, he's considered a really good putter and has never really been a threat in the majors. He could be on a Ryder Cup, and you're like, okay, I like Snedeker on the Ryder Cup.
He could have won the Masters. Remember he was weeping? Remember that? He choked.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking
I'm
about.
He almost won the whole day. I mean,
talking about weekday favorites. You're never like, all right, I got Snedeker this week.
Yeah.
But when he's on your Ryder Cup team, you're like, good, solid pick. We're playing 4-ball. That guy can putt the lights out.
A good way to tell if you're talking to a gambler and a guy that likes to gamble specifically on golf is to ask him about guys that maybe aren't the elite players, but they make every cut. He'll know.
Yeah.
It's like my Leishman thing. I mean, you'll know a guy that's not a threat to win, but will be around on the weekend because you identify those bastards quick when you're in a pool.
What's a good percentage, I wonder, of made cuts? If you're looking for somebody as a gambler, like over this threshold is now good. Is it 70%, 80%? I mean, Tiger, obviously was like a 99% for so many years.
That's part of the argument that you make for Tiger when you're doing the all-time stuff is that go back and look how he absolutely shattered the consecutive cuts made, Rick. He's just insane.
Like, for example, Brandt Snedeker for his career has made 73% of the cuts of events he's played. So he's played in 323. He's made 237 cuts.
Cut-making machine. Look at Mark Leishman.
I will. And also, while I'm doing that, a little note on Brandt Snedeker's career earnings, $36 million in his career. So Charles Howell has actually out-earned Brandt Snedeker, if you can believe that. And he's won 6 fewer tournaments.
That's longevity, my friend. That's just hanging around. Hey, who wouldn't want to be good enough to just hang around on the PGA Tour, make cuts, make millions of dollars, have sponsors out the wazoo, and, hey, maybe you don't win a major. Maybe you don't even win that many tournaments. Maybe you never win a tournament. You're just hanging around, making cuts, keeping your tour card, playing golf for a living, getting to go all around the world, see the most beautiful courses the world has to offer, and retire at, 45 with $30 million in the bank.
Okay, so Mark Leishman has made 74.3% of the cuts in events he's played. Now, if you look at and this is where you were on to something a long time ago. If you look at the last 4 years, I'll go 2016, he played 25 events. He made 20 cuts. 2017, played in 25 events, made 22 cuts. 2018, same thing, 22 out of 25. And this year he's made 11 of 12 before withdrawing today.
Yeah, cut-making machine. And he's got a lot of top 20s, top 10s, too. I mean, if you would look that up, too, because that's real money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, okay, so top 25 finishes. Oh, my God. Wow. Top 25. He has 89 top 25s in 261 events.
That's why.
He's got 43 top 10s in 261
Think about that.
events.
That's why you take a guy like that in your pool, because he's there on Saturday and Sunday, and he's going to finish in the top 10.
He's made $25.7 million up to this point in his PGA Tour career.
He's going to make double that. It's a cut-making machine. It's crazy. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Day this Friday, May 10th from 11 till 4 at the Southwood Golf Club with exclusive Demo Day savings. Get custom fit by vendor reps from Ping, Callaway, Mizuno, Cobra, TaylorMade, Titleist, Srixon, Cleveland, Wilson, and more. Trade in your old clubs and get a 50% bonus trade-in value towards your new Titleist TS2 and TS3 driver purchase. Some manufacturer restrictions may apply. While you're there, register to win great prizes. Don't miss the Edwin Watts Golf Outdoor Demo Day this Saturday from 11 till 4 at the Southwood Golf Club. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Whether you're painting your home or you're a pro painting someone else's home, perfect color starts with the perfect paint. PPG Diamond Paint. Now at the Home Depot from just $23.98. Get durable coverage that's been trusted by pros for over 135 years. Now, it's your turn. Today is the day for doing with PPG Diamond Paint starting at just $23.98. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, where Memorial Day savings started May 1st with May Holiday Bonus Cash, Frontier and Titan Red Tag Truck Cash. And at Kraft Nissan, you get special interest rates and huge rebates. You get both. The other guys, you only get one rate or rebate. So listen up. All 2019 Rogues in stock are $3,000 off, and you get 0.9% interest for 60 months. All 2019 Altimas in stock are $5,000 off, and you get 2.9% interest for 60 months. And we've got over 100 new Rogues and Altimas to choose from. At Kraft Nissan, Pathfinders and Muranos are up to $8,000 off. And Titans, with America's best truck warranty, 5 years or 100,000 miles bumper to bumper, are up to $12,000 off. Seriously, at Kraft Nissan, Memorial Day savings are today and every day this month, with huge savings all month long. Plus, Nissan is blowing away the competition with special low interest rates and rebates. You get both. No wonder Tallahassee is a Nissan town, a Kraft Nissan town. And Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Interest rates with approved credit through NMAC.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Former Magic and Pacers head coach Frank Vogel will interview for the Lakers head coaching job. Ty Lue turned down a 3-year offer from the team. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski says the aura around the Lakers is changing.
Everybody in the league knows if the Lakers are run right, you can't beat them. If you run the Lakers right, everybody wants to play there. Coaches want to coach there. It's the premier franchise in the league. Guys want to play in LA. They want to play under the banners. And the arrival of LeBron James, who I think at the time some thought this was the beginning of a renaissance for the organization, that it was going to be a destination place again in free agency. That hasn't happened, and they're looking at a July free agency where they're not the front runner for any of the big stars.
Adrian Wojnarowski on Golic and Wingo. Kevin Durant of the Warriors is having an MRI today on his strained right calf. He left last night's Game 5 win against the Rockets in the third quarter. Coach Steve Kerr told The Athletic it's unlikely Durant will play in Game 6 tomorrow night in Houston. We've got an NBA playoff doubleheader on ESPN and the ESPN app starting at 8 Eastern tonight. 2 potential series-clinching games. First, Raptors and 76ers in Philadelphia with Toronto leading 3-2. Then the Nuggets and Trailblazers in Portland with Denver leading 3-2. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final tonight in Boston with the Bruins hosting the Hurricanes. Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy will serve a 1-game suspension for an illegal hit to the head of Blue Jackets winger Josh Anderson on Monday. From baseball, the Giants put catcher Buster Posey on the 7-day concussion list.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
The Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I do appreciate it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. Sometimes it happens, though. We lead busy lives. I know you do as well, so go catch up at your leisure. Why don't you go to iTunes after the show's over? It will be there, or online, ESPNTallahassee.com. Find it on the WTSM app as well. Email the show if you're so inclined. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameron Show. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. I hope you are well. How about our sorry asses? The timing couldn't have been any worse. You're right, Tom. It's I want to give away some tickets this hour to the baseball game. To the baseball game against the Richmond Spiders.
It's our first chance to turn it around. That's what that is.
Yeah, maybe that's what these 2 tickets represent, is a drastic turnaround from the stretch of, we're 1-2 in our last 3 games. I know the kid that started for the Hatters yesterday for Stetson, I think on the season he came into the afternoon, their starter, 1-8. I don't think I know that. He was 1-8. Felt real good about that matchup.
Yeah, you were slow playing the I think part.
Yeah,
there.
I was slow playing. I know he was 1-8. And records aren't always the purest indicator of how well somebody has pitched or not. But 1-8 usually coincides with poor pitching. Usually. Unless you're incredibly unlucky, which does happen. But I think you can make an educated guess when it's Stetson and a guy's 1-8. You go, yeah, probably not real good. Imminently hittable. Feels like we should get some hits off that guy. Or a hit.
Yeah, get some
Maybe
hit.
a hit.
Need to get some hit.
Get a hit. Something. And I know that my man didn't pitch the whole game, obviously. He certainly stifled us when he did pitch for the first 4 innings. The lone base runner Florida State got was thrown out attempting to steal. Getting no hit by Stetson. It's all back on the table, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is. How about 5 runs in 3 games this week?
We pitched our ass off this week.
We have pitched our ass off this week.
I mean, pitched our ass off.
We've given up 4. So we've outscored the opposition 5-4 in 2 games this week. Or 3 games,
and 1-2.
And we're 1-2.
Yeah, it's a problem. But nonetheless, Florida State will close out its home schedule with 3 games against Richmond beginning tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And that's where I come into play.
This is the hopeful part of it.
Yeah, I've got 2 tickets right behind home plate, about 10 rows back, 2 tickets, courtesy of the Animals of Section B. Way to go, Animals. We appreciate you. Thanks for these 2 tickets. And now I want to give them to my audience, or at least a member of my audience. 523-3776, caller 1. There it is. Caller 1. If you're calling right now and Tom picks up or Matthew picks up, whomever.
Yeah, starting now. Not moments ago when you said I've got tickets.
Yeah, you knew it happened. We've been hearing the phone go off the hook here. So there it is, 523-3776. Call for a pair of tickets. You got to be able to go to the game, though, man. Don't be calling and then, give it to your friend. No. Go to the game. You got to go. I want people calling who are going to the game that are really
seats.
excited about
I've sat in these before.
These are very good seats. Section 7, row H, seat 8 and 9. Seat 7 and 8, excuse me. Think they'll win that game on Friday against Richmond?
Yes.
Think they'll get a hit?
I think we're either going to score 1 run or 12.
15.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just beating the hell out of the mic.
Beat that thing.
I'm just out of disgust. I'm throwing this mic everywhere. Well, I'm throwing that mic everywhere for a variety of reasons. I'm frustrated with it.
You treat that mic like it's Conti.
I'm also amused at the Bucks, who could have made a move to bring in Ansah, but the Seahawks beat him to do it.
We don't have any money.
You got to figure out something. That's why you cut McCoy and you go sign your boy and let's go.
Yeah, I think at that point you only have
you got enough.
$4
to
million,
him.
$4 or $5 million.
I think it's $8 million you get.
Okay.
I mean, you can't live like this. I mean, what are we doing?
Apparently we can.
What are we doing?
We can and we are.
So let's rehash.
Who are we spending the money on? That's what I want to know. Isn't the cap like 180-something million?
Who have we paid?
That's what I want to know. I don't know. Is it the 2 tackles? I mean, Jameis is getting $20-some-odd million for the option that we picked.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, still, if you're talking somewhere closer to $200 million.
Evans, did we pay Evans yet?
We have.
Okay, so Evans is making a lot of money, and he deserves to make an awful lot of money.
Does.
So that's good. All right.
Like Levante? I mean, we're not paying corners or safeties. We're not really paying a linebacker except for Levante. McCoy's going to come off the books.
Well, we need to get him off the books, and let's get on with getting.
Pierre-Paul, you saw the investigation stuff, obviously.
So did he fall asleep? I'm looking at basically the drawing, the recreation of what happened. He's driving in the damn middle lane. There's nobody around him, and he swerves about and slams into the wall. What are we doing? Did he just fall asleep? It was in the wee hours of the morning. So I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt here.
So they ruled out drugs, alcohol, and they don't think he was distracted. So what's left? They said weather might have been. I mean,
did he hydroplane
from the middle lane?
Well, you can though. You've hydroplaned, and I mean that's
God.
a scary situation. And we've all been in a situation where mine wasn't as bad as yours.
75 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're thinking, well, that's been nice knowing you.
I did.
Yeah. That sucks. It's worse. I've had a near accident like that too, where it flashes through your brain.
It probably was about 7 to 10 seconds, but it felt longer than that.
Oh, It feels like it's stop gap, like just sort of stop motion. It's just.
It was a hydroplane, then a correction. I corrected it actually quite nicely, and I was down to about 60 to 65 miles an hour, and then I hit another patch of water, and that's what sent me
I really think it's cool because I do it too, and so therefore I have to think it's cool. That in moments where you correct or act quickly in a time of crisis while on the road. Anybody listening has done this successfully and maybe failed also. I had a situation where it was freaking Mario Andretti-esque. It was just one of the most impressive maneuvers I've ever made to avoid a 3-car pileup. And afterwards, after you breathe out and are thankful that you're okay and you think about everything and you knock on wood and you do all that, it doesn't take long for a man to then congratulate himself on the driving. Woo! Yeah, it's serious. It takes about 30 seconds of reflection, what could have happened, what would have been lost, the people in your life that you love that you would miss forevermore, and then right after that you go, what a badass I am. Holy moly, I wish that was filmed. Woo! I wish my fellow male drivers could have seen the maneuvering that I just undertook to save a lot of lives, because that's impressive.
I let out a primal yell, but it was the adrenaline.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the, truly, that's a real thing. You're like,
I told you I thought I was having a heart attack when my tire went out at like 75 miles per hour. I slid sideways and wheeled around and pulled over. It was like holding on to the steering wheel for dear life. And I called Christy. We were freshly married. This is how long ago that was. And I pulled over the side of the road, and I called her because I was still probably 20 minutes outside of town on I-10. And I remember my neck was so tight and the veins, but it was stress and it was adrenaline and all of that. And my hands had been squeezing the wheel. But I thought I was having a stroke or a heart attack. I was like, hey, I just want you to know where I am. Mile marker, whatever. I think something's wrong with me. I mean, my neck is so tight right now. I think I'm going to probably stop breathing any moment here. Just work with me. Mile marker such and such.
Sure, she loved that phone call.
Well, I mean, I was probably decidedly less dramatic than I'm being right now, but I was like, well, here's where I'm at. If anything happens, just so you know. Yeah, that is the adrenaline rush is real. That's a freaky deal.
So, yeah, my right arm was locked up pretty good. I think it was my right arm. We were coming back from President's Day weekend when you were answering emails, and that's when my family does a little reunion in Orlando. And just before you get off the turnpike, you know that there are those gas stations that are in the median of the two lanes on the turnpike. There's two of them at different points. Well, this a-hole decides to cut across all of the lanes of traffic into the middle. And you could see it happening, and they nearly clipped the exit median, like that little strip there. But you could see them coming my way.
People, man.
I'm in the left lane. This is 3 lanes or 4. It's at least 3. And the guy is slamming on the brakes to get across. So I don't have room in front of me to hit the gas because there's another car in front of me. So I have to hit the brakes and hope that the guy behind me does it right.
It's the worst.
I veer into the middle lane and I get going. But that was a Mario Andretti moment where my arm in the shoulder area because I had locked up to hit the steering wheel.
You want to go back and look at it in slow motion replay while you're patting yourself on the back. It's like, man, I didn't know I had that in me. I'm like a racetrack guru. Like, look at me. I should go race cars.
I was like a New York cabbie though.
Yeah.
With the things I was yelling.
Oh well, I don't doubt it. I'm a pretty imaginative swearer as well. It's fun. It's really it gets taxed in that moment.
So we had the suitcases out. I'm going to see my mom this weekend for Mother's Day, and it was sticking out just from the the doorway from the bathroom into the bedroom.
Boom!
And I kicked the hell out of it. I was Al Swearingen for about 10 seconds this morning. Nobody was around, but I'm sure the cat's upstairs.
So this
heard
is
me.
what
They're
I'm
like,
saying.
What is that guy doing?
If you make the decision to have kids, those are the unavoidable moments in which they are educated. You can try your damnedest to be good around them, but inevitably something happens along those lines, and you return to your roots, who you are. There's just no checking it in that moment. Onward we move. Let me refresh for those that just popped into the car there. Obviously, we talked Florida State baseball, which, sweet Jesus, getting no hit by. Is that the low point, by the way? Is that the low point? Because we've had some low points this year, but Florida's sweeping of us. By the way, Florida spent much of the year not beating anybody except us.
If this turns into us not making the postseason,
a nosedive, then it will be.
Then that's the low point, yeah.
Getting no hit by Stetson.
I mean,
I don't know that. I mean,
but if you bounce back and sweep Richmond, and maybe you take 2 or 3 because baseball is weird.
Baseball is
from
weird.
Louisville and
that's
everything's
a pretty
right.
low point, though, man.
You'll laugh about it if we get into region play
and play
anywhere.
well or something. Yeah,
anywhere.
Yeah.
If we play in a region somewhere, but if we don't make the postseason, that's the moment.
I'll tell you this much, and I'll segue into the basketball because I want to comment on something that Brad Stevens said after Boston no-showed again last night, and that is that I'm fully prepared to be laughing as regional play gets underway because we're playing over our heads and ruining somebody else's season. Because that's how it works. If we were playing great all season long, we enter into regionals because we've done this time and again. We enter into the regional. Now, in his career, Mike Martin has been hugely successful in regional play. So I'm not trying to paint a picture like we choke in all the regionals. We don't. But lately, we certainly have had our fair share of missteps right here in our own backyard. If you'd like to play the clip,
Oh, really?
I mean, listen, I referenced it directly. You might as well. It's on the table anyhow.
Full speed, high in the air, deep to left field. A walk-off for the Bulldogs. They stay alive in Tallahassee.
Spare the people.
What is he doing? Yeah, there it is. So, anyhow,
J.R. Smith.
But when I think about those regionals and I think about heading over to Dick Howser Stadium, Mike Martin Field, I think about the feeling of not dread, but there's a weight to it. You know, there's this weight when you're the expected victor, when you're the one that's supposed to come out of a regional and you're hosting. You're always, hey, look, now I'm glad we had the kind of season that allows us to host. I'm really excited to be hosting this weekend, and we get to go to the ballpark again, and that's great. And we'll join all of our friends underneath the old oak, and we'll get crazy and have fun and cheer on our Noles. But as you actually go to sit down in your seat to watch the baseball, if it's tied in the fourth inning, you get that feeling again, that sort of, oh, man, come on now. Let's get the bats going, everybody. Let's, and whatever it is. There's a pressure with that.
Our hit's a tapper.
Yeah.
It was a swinging bunt.
Yeah.
Who the hell is this kid?
Yeah. It'll be our luck that 5 years from now he's in the bigs, and we're like, that's who that is, because plenty of kids have come in here and done that.
It's Tippy Moriarty.
Who's starting today for the Phillies 5 years removed, right? So, long story short, we always fear those teams whose fan bases likely viewed them through the same lens we're currently viewing our team this year, right? Disappointing, low expectations going into the postseason. Well, if they even win a game, I'll be surprised. They've been so wildly inconsistent. They don't hit. They don't field. They don't run the bases well. They can't pitch. I don't know. And then they come in, and then you see those 15 fans that made the trip, and you're standing going nuts because they just upset you.
And they always go crazy.
Crazy down the third baseline, screaming and yelling. They probably brought cowbells with them and everything else. You're like, sweet Jesus, you love some Florida Atlantic, don't you? Or whatever it is, right? And so that'll be us. We'll go into Baton Rouge, storied program, but with no expectations. Like, well, we suck. We watch this team all year long. We got no chance. We'll be at the tailgate eating freaking crawfish and drinking beer with the locals, and it'll be fun.
Chucking a floppy javelin from Revenge of the Nerds. But it's the tomahawk. It's the spear, I mean.
That's what we'll do. We'll go in there. We'll be like, no chance. And then we're going to look at each other midway through the seventh, up 11-0 over LSU. We got a two-hitter going. We've been making plays at third base like we're freaking Cal Ripken. And everybody's like, what's going on here? And it's, we're going to laugh because that's just baseball.
And we're paired with the Athens Regional, and Georgia's losing. And you're like, oh,
we may host the Supers.
Let's
We're
go.
gonna host the Supers. It's off to Omaha with this bunch.
And then we get, 2 games swept in the Supers, and it's over.
Well,
that would still be a hell of a season, wouldn't it?
If we make the Super Regional at all. I mean, first of all, we're talking right now about whether or not we're going to make the postseason. So remember this day because it's 5 o'clock on a Thursday. I'm saying to you, if they go to a Super Regional, Jesus, man, we ought to be dancing in the streets.
Yeah, I feel like Poppy. Do you question Florida State's chances to make the postseason? Yes.
See. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Are here. The Corner Pocket is your home all spring long for all the heart-pounding moments in the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's held in a shot, safe,
The Corner Pocket on Appalachia Parkway next to Earth Fair is your headquarters for FSU and Major League Baseball. Trivia Tuesdays, beer bingo Thursdays, and of course, all the moments you'll never forget.
For the championship!
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, where Memorial Day savings started May 1st with May Holiday Bonus Cash, Frontier and Titan Red Tag Truck Cash. And at Kraft Nissan, you get special interest rates and huge rebates. You get both. The other guys, you only get one rate or rebate. So listen up. All 2019 Rogues in stock are $3,000 off, and you get 0.9% interest for 60 months. All 2019 Altimas in stock are $5,000 off, and you get 2.9% interest for 60 months. And we've got over 100 new Rogues and Altimas to choose from. At Kraft Nissan, Pathfinders and Muranos are up to $8,000 off. And Titans, with America's best truck warranty, 5 years or 100,000 miles bumper to bumper, are up to $12,000 off. Seriously, at Kraft Nissan, Memorial Day savings are today and every day this month, with huge savings all month long. Plus, Nissan is blowing away the competition with special low interest rates and rebates. You get both. No wonder Tallahassee is a Nissan town, a Kraft Nissan town. In Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Interest rates with approved credit through NMAC.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one Aurora wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I know we can't do it. I would like for coaches to be able to do it, but it's terrible leadership, so they don't, and they ought not. But I think we know, and they were less than cryptic during the course of the year, a lot of the players on that Celtics team, but it is safe to say that nobody in Boston is going to be crying when Kyrie Irving leaves. Good Lord, that guy.
So I honestly thought when he started whatever it was, 212 last night, that maybe, just maybe,
you bench him?
Yeah, just bench him and roll with what you got. And if you come back, well, then Kyrie has to go along to get along, or he doesn't have to play. Because that second unit tightened up the game in the first quarter going into the second.
Well, it's amazing. The Celtics began the playoffs by winning 5 straight games. They swept, and then they won game 1 against Milwaukee. So at that moment, you think about the conversation. Well, whatever middling team they were during the course of the regular season, obviously they were just saving it for now. They know it's about the playoffs. It's not about the regular season. You just get in and you worry about it after that, right? That was the thought process. Like, here we go again, because the run they had last year. Of course, the teams are different this year, at least in terms of how they're currently constructed and aging and maturing and stuff like that. So it wasn't exactly the same thing. Like last year, you could argue the East was a mess, and Boston benefited greatly because of it and went on their run. Anyhow, so, yeah, they're a disappointment. There's no getting around it. But even still, when the playoffs began, they won 5 straight games, and they looked like they had figured it out. They looked like the good version of Boston that you would see every now and again during the regular season when they'd rattle off 3 or 4 wins in a row. And then they would revert back to ridiculous. They're hard to watch because Kyrie has the ball in his hands all the time. And it's just a whole lot of hero ball and dribbling. That's the worst. When they look bad, that's what it looks like. Him just dribbling around. It's the worst.
There's one possession in the second quarter after Kyrie. This is before he goes on that little mini run to get his percentage back up, and then he misses a couple of threes. But he had missed so many shots in a row that actually I think it was the first quarter. I think it was Rozier had the ball, but don't hold me to it. He's open in the corner as Kyrie, and he is completely ignored. You could tell the other 4 on the floor are saying, F you, pal. Even though he's wide open, he's calling for the ball, and it is a high percentage 3. They screw you. You just missed like your last 5. So get out of here.
He went 6 for 21 on the night. He was 1 of 7 from 3. Whatever he was at that point in the game, obviously it wasn't good. I mean, those guys hate him. This will be very interesting. I wonder where he's going to go. He begged for this. Charles Barkley was right about that earlier in the week. He said, this is what it's about. You begged for this. You wanted to be the guy. You had an opportunity to be the man. That's why you left Cleveland. And now the team needs you to be that guy. You have to be the son of a bitch that all the great players are.
He could have been in Cleveland because LeBron jetted. That's the funny part. But yeah.
But he decided no. And couldn't. Well, he didn't just. He left, and then he got his opportunity, and he pouted, and he spent much of this year being an enigma, kind of difficult. He went through a 3-week stretch where he didn't talk to his teammates. Did you know that? That's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard of from a leader. You can't do that if you ask for it.
Yeah, I think the deal here is that in a year from now, if he goes to New York and they do well with KD and he's 1B. Then it's fine. That's just what he is. I think he's just you can't win with him. It's proven now. Mm-hmm. And even though we're going to laugh at him for a good long while for it, I mean, he could be right back in the East Finals, the Finals next year if he is alongside somebody powerful.
What he is in a lot of ways is very unique. The player that he is in terms of the skill set, you seldom see, right? I mean, there are nights you watch him and you're in awe of what he's capable of doing, especially finishing around the rim being his size. Like, he finds ways, creative angles, and bizarre spin and everything else to finish around the rim that most people his size in the league can't do. So he's always going to be somewhat fascinating to watch. But I think we now know, right, he's not the guy. He can't be the guy because he can't lead.
But he's a guy that when your starter, not your starter, but your superstar, your superstar is having a bad night, he can drop 40, and now you're up 2-0 in the series instead of splitting 1-1 because Kyrie had a night.
There's real value, but can you imagine Brad Stevens, and that's what I want to get to. You know how he wants the game to be played, right? And it's anti-Kyrie Irving. It's not the way Kyrie Irving plays. And so this year had to have been a nightmare. And it's pretty obvious it was. His quote after the loss last night, I'll be the first to say that this, as far as any other year I've been a head coach, well, it's certainly been the most trying. Well, I'll tell you right there. I think I've done, and then he caught himself. And I think he was going to give himself a pat on the back, and then he realized how that would sound because he goes, I think I've done, well, I did a bad job. And he goes on to say, at the end of the day, as coach, if your team doesn't find its best fit together, well, then that's on you. So he corrected himself, but he's trying to basically say, I tried to do everything I know how to get that guy to play well and play with others. And I don't, to share the basketball, and he won't do it. And then I think you can make an argument, and this is where he gets hurt to some extent because you never want to throw this around lightly, but did he give up last night? Did he quit? Sure looked like it. Kyrie? Yeah. Sure looked like he might have quit.
Well, I think he tried to score 50, and once he realized that he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And honestly, I think if he had continued, he had one key three-pointer late second quarter where they could have gotten it to 10, and it's magically to 16 going down the other way. Mm-hmm. If he hits that one, then I don't know. Maybe he does go off for a big night. But then once that little push was extinguished, that was it. That was it for him.
What hurts him is he wants to be thought of as a LeBron, as Kevin Durant, as those guys, and now he's proven he can't be. Because right across from him is a superstar carrying his team, and he couldn't even match that level of play.
Yeah, and a guy who didn't take a whole lot of shots early on in the game.
No.
And overall, really.
Yeah, because it's about winning the game, and he gets it, It's within the flow of a game that you do that. So, I guess if I'm a Celtics fan, I'm start over. But you still have serious questions because now you don't know what Tatum is.
Yes, but if you have another big down low by the name of Anthony Davis, maybe that frees up kinds of matchups that he can be a stud again.
They're going to package something for Anthony Davis, and yeah, that's what they're going to have to do.
As long as it's not Tatum, though.
Yeah, no. Also, it's pretty evident that, man, that injury to Gordon Hayward was pretty severe because he is a shell of himself. My God.
Yeah, that
slow ass can't do anything off the bounce.
That's beyond troubling, I think.
Well, I think he's I mean, that it
when you're trying to evaluate what you have in the offseason, you're I don't know what that guy is.
Well, you have to ask the doctors now. Is this a guy that's ever going to get back to what he was when we traded for him? Let's not forget, he was a very good player. He beat people off the bounce, got to the basket, created shots, made shots, a lot of things that made him unique. He's not doing any of that.
So I haven't locked in to watch Boston, Milwaukee like from start to finish. I'll always flip back to it. It's in the rotation for the night. Once we get to the finals, if they get past the next round, obviously you watch everything. But every time I turn on the TV, George Hill is doing something awesome, and he shot 57, just a shade under 57.9%, a little under 58 for the series, and he looks so young again. I mean, the speed. His confidence from beyond the arc, all of it, everything about his game, he is a great complementary piece, and he's coming to life like he has in the past.
They're going to have to this is an interesting team, this Milwaukee team. I'm excited to watch them continue. They could come out of there, right? I mean, that's pretty cool. In fact, you probably would say they're going to.
Yeah, I think so. I really enjoy watching the Milwaukee team, and I hope they win. That's the team. It has been decided through this round of the playoffs. Now, the Kawhi story is awesome.
And he's an awesome player.
I'll probably root for, I mean, if he does that and they come out of the East, then fine. I root for Kawhi like I rooted for LeBron when it's like the old man versus...
What a moment if he carries Toronto to the NBA Finals. Right. I mean, a year removed from that collapse that they had, he goes, I got this. I could be the man in the postseason.
I could be way wrong, but I think if they push it to 6 in the next round... If Toronto can push it to 6, that's an accomplishment in and of itself.
Yeah, no, that's listen, you've got two of the most storied franchises in basketball history that will have serious questions to answer if that's the case, because the Sixers will once again have not made it out of the second round, and they've trusted the process probably long enough. At some point, you're gonna what do you do?
So in the last 3 games, this is where George Hill really started to take off. He's had some big third quarters. That's what the broadcast. Marv Albert was on that broadcast, and all he talked about was third quarter. But he has 52 points in his last 3 games, does George Hill. He's hit well over 50% of his three-point attempts. He's got 8 assists to just 1 turnover, and a lot of those three-pointers come in big moments when you could swing it to above 10 points or to break a run, those types of things. He's been ever present in the big moments of these games.
You going to stay up late tonight and watch Denver and Portland? Portland forced the Game 7. I don't know. Denver seems to have – if you really think about that series, it could have been over by now. Denver lost a triple overtime game. They had another game that they lost in the last second. I mean, they could have swept Portland. Now, Portland is tough, and they're tough-minded. In a lot of ways, these two teams mirror each other, and that's why we're going a chance to go to Game 7 if Portland can win tonight. And I want to see a Game 7.
I could be swept away to do so, but I'm not planning on it. You know how it goes, though. You get locked in the first quarter, you're like, oh, okay, what am I doing? I'm lying to myself. I'm going to sit here and watch this game.
Well, Toronto and Philadelphia tonight, too. And don't let Philadelphia fool around and lose in Philadelphia.
I'm really not interested in watching that game because I think it's over.
No, but I'll tell you what I will watch is if they start losing in Philadelphia and they're playing poorly and Embiid is, my stomach hurts, whatever it is, I'll be watching that, and because Philadelphia fans are ruthless, they'll boo their ass. It'll be hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get booed off their own floor.
Well, what I was saying last night was I thought Boston had a better chance to win their respective game, than Philly does, because at least you're on the road, because Boston and Philly fans can be brutal to their own.
It's brutal. That'll be funny. If they come out and play poorly and they've got no answers again, Kawhi goes nuts. I want to know the over-under. Midway through the third quarter? When do the boos start coming out? You're not going to do
it's a sliding scale of point deficit and time.
You're not going to do it before halftime.
I think if you get to 12 or more in the second quarter, they're booing.
In the second quarter?
Oh, yeah. If it's like a 44-30.
It's an elimination game. You can't be booing your team in the second quarter.
If it's 44-32 timeout Philly, you don't think that they're booing before they go to a TV timeout?
Maybe. Well, it depends on how
it's an 11-0 run for the Raptors.
It just depends on how Embiid's playing.
You can hear it.
Whether or not he's man up or not. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
championship. What made this year, this team so special?
If I had to use one word, I would say resiliency. We preach that word from the first day of practice, that no matter what happens, we as a group need to stick together, and we need to form a brotherhood that is so tight that nothing can break us. And our group was talented, but I think what made them so special is that they were resilient when things got hard. Instead of severing and breaking apart, they instead came together even stronger. And then also selfless, that this group put the team above themselves in a way that I have hardly ever seen in sports, whether it be on the high school, college, or pro level. And I think that's what made this year's 2019 state champions at JP2 so special.
It sounds like even though you built a culture, a championship culture at that, at JP2, it doesn't just come from the basketball program itself.
JP2 is a wonderful family environment. It is a school that prides itself in helping students develop and form in mind, body, and spirit. It truly is a family atmosphere.
For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 12th, which means you'll soon wonder, what should I get her? It has to be special and trendy and to match her style. Here's an idea. Check out the delicate diamond bands, necklaces, and hoop earrings at Helzberg Diamonds that she can wear solo or layered with other pieces. So for just $199.99 each, she'll stay on trend and feel loved. And you'll save up to $200. Visit a Helzberg Diamond store and check all the boxes on her wish list.
The 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachie Parkway is Tallahassee's premier location to try out the best craft brews from the state of Florida. With 14 self-service taps activated by cutting-edge technology, you can try as little or as much as you like from their full menu. The 7th Hill is a proud home of international soccer, opening early for every Arsenal game. They're also open by request for your favorite club, too. Just see Sharon behind the bar. Whether it's a happy hour deal, Sunday brunch with $3 mimosas and a food truck, or time to catch up with friends over a board game, darts, or shuffleboard, Tallahassee's premier spot to enjoy local and Florida craft brews is the 7th Hill Tap Room. 2475 Appalachie Parkway, right underneath the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
And we're back with another edition of Spring Cleaning. Today, we want to know how you save energy, water, and money during a warmer season. Caller, you're on the air. What do you do to save energy?
With the warmer temperature, I know my AC is working overtime, so I make sure to replace my AC filter once a month.
Excellent suggestion. Next caller, you're on the air.
Well, the city of Tallahassee recommends that I take advantage of their grants and loans to get more insulation in my attic. That's really going to keep my cooling costs down.
These are some great suggestions. There are lots of ways to save. Caller, you're on the air.
I reduce energy for water heating by lowering my water heater temperature and installing low-flow shower heads.
We have time for one more caller. What do you have for us?
I make sure to use my programmable thermostat to regulate the temperature in my home when I'm away.
Thank you, caller. That's all the time we have today.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities would like to help you save as much energy as you can and save money while you're at it. Visit talgov.com for more information and start saving energy today.
Yuengling Golden Pilsner, a highly sessionable beer, golden in both name and color. Yuengling Golden Pilsner is the perfect balance of hop and malt character for crisp and smooth, thirst-quenching refreshment. Cheer for your garnet and gold with Yuengling Golden Pilsner. Yuengling, brewing good times for 190 years. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Triangle Sales.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Wrapping it up. Before we do, I'll say this. It's easy to like Steve Kerr. And you can see why players, I think, probably enjoy playing for him. Did you see his postgame after they won last night?
A couple of extended clips where he was remarking on Steph Curry and obviously what he did down the stretch.
He called his team effing Giants.
Did not see that part.
Yeah, it was cool. He was kind of he was talking about the big soccer comeback and the big win, and he goes, I don't know if you guys follow that league or anything like that, but after they won yesterday, he called his team effing Giants, and I want to tell you my team are effing Giants after tonight.
So I watched his clips, his selected clips on NBA.com, and I guess there's no wonder why they didn't have that in there because it's NBA.com. You probably don't want the profanity.
Well, what I will say is, a reminder of who they were and what they were before Kevin Durant was there. It's like they kind of rightfully acquiesced to his talents, his stardom, and let him be the man. But you got a glimpse into what it was they did prior to Kevin Durant being an unstoppable force, right? They share the basketball, they move. They space perfectly. And a couple guys make shots, and you see it's infectious. You watch the way it all gets set up. And that's why they're more enjoyable to watch. It helps if you have the pieces. I mean, you got to have guys that can do that. But it's not just ISO. It's a lot of ball movement and great spacing.
I think it also helps you're at home in that moment, too.
Sure, yeah. But I'm just saying, stylistically, they don't want to play the way Houston plays. And that's why I get on Houston. It's not that Houston doesn't have good players. It's not that Houston's not good. They deserve credit. Houston could win this series, may very well win this series. And they could win the NBA title. They're just not fun to watch.
The funny thing about it, though, is you can't blame them because
they got to do what they got to do.
You lament the way that Golden State and Kevin Durant went about building this team. And so it's not Houston's fault that they got to find some creative way to get around the fact that they don't have that roster.
You are correct. That's all true. And I actually kind of admire, listen, the ingenuity. You've got to figure out how to play and beat this team. And you can argue last year they would have won if Chris Paul didn't get hurt. Now, I do want to say this. What the hell happened to that guy? What is going on? He's got a sizable contract to fulfill, and if you're not going to step up and play, he was terrible. And you know who disappeared in the fourth.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing, too, is even though you'd say that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond have to bear the brunt for Game 6, there's no pressure on them. There's no pressure whatsoever on them. Even though they have to shoulder a bigger load, it doesn't matter. All the pressure's on Houston. Because if you can't win this when KD's not there, when will you? You'll never do it.
Well, you won't. That's correct. I mean, and it's going to be fascinating. Houston plays really well at home, and I got to imagine that that they'll win this game and force a Game 7. They just have never been able to beat Golden State on the road, and they didn't get home court. So by starting so slow during the regular season, which they did, they buried themselves into a position where they were going to have to play this series on the road eventually, right? You got to find a way to beat Golden State at Golden State at some point. And so it'll be fascinating.
The only thing that you can draw on there, if you're Harden and the Rockets, is you got to within a point before the Durant injury, like the basket and the injury that he hits from whatever it was, 15 feet.
Yeah.
That was with him in the game. And so if he's available for a 7 or whatever the scenario will be, you can at least draw on that you're capable of going toe-to-toe, but you do need to see the proverbial ball go through the hoop with a lead.
Well, let me ask you this, though. I mean, the reason they were able to come all the way back is because of how well Harden played.
Yeah.
He was playing exceptional. He made everything in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. He was awesome.
Drives and step backs.
Yeah, he did everything they needed him to do. He had one shot attempt in the last 10 minutes of the basketball game. The one is a layup with 29 seconds to play that they gave him because it's over. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? There's no way. I get it, and they talked about it last night after the game. Kerr recognizing that Harden is the leader of that team, so you throw everything you got at him and get the ball out of his hands. Well, I think everybody knew Michael Jordan was the man. I think everybody knows whoever you want to see. Giannis is the man. I get it. Your star can't take one shot in the fourth quarter. That can't happen. I mean, you may want to accuse D'Antoni of not doing a good job of coaching. You may want to say that Chris Paul's got to find a way to get him the ball in space because that's kind of what you do as a point guard. But I don't know of any superstar carrying a team who's, gone into a fourth quarter of a pivotal game and not taking more than one shot.
Hayton ass Cameron, he's back.
You can't tell me objectively you wouldn't find that to be absurd if you're a Houston fan.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're glad that there's a full spread on the table before you from last night. And you're not mad about the fact that you have some ammo.
Let me tell you, I watched that game from start to finish, and I sat there laughing in the fourth quarter.
That's what I'm saying.
Each minute that went by, I went, has anybody seen James Harden? Where's Harden? My wife's like, I'm going to bed. You won't find Harden there. No, you can't find him anywhere. He's nowhere to be found. He's not showing up. I should have said check for Harden in there, but there's no, what?
That's like me when they show the NFL quarterback lists and they're going through all the great things that Breeze has done and Brady, and they seem to take turns every year now.
Right.
And even Big Ben will sneak in there every
then
once
you'll
in a while.
say, I don't see that guy from Atlanta.
Where's Matt Ryan on that list? I've been told my whole life that this guy's the chosen one. Where the hell is he?
Well, I'm telling you now that if they go back to Houston, if they lose and there's no Kevin Durant and Harden disappears in the fourth quarter, he could average 68 points a game next year in the regular season, and they should boo him.
I know you're not rooting for a Game 7. You're rooting for 8 of 33 for Harden. That's
I
what
want him
you're
to
rooting
lose
for.
at home. I want him to do what he did, what was that, 2 years ago? Where we're like, my God, homeboy's out here scoring 3 points in an elimination game.
Effing sinister, man.
Screw that guy. Ruining basketball. It's impossible. Kicking your damn feet. I got to do an argument with an official. This is funny. Last night,
official?
Yeah. So one of the guys that covers college golf is a high school basketball referee, and he's really good at covering college golf, and he was doing it long before anybody else did. He does it for Golf Week, and he was our guest. And I've met him. I met him at the Masters, and you like that? And anyhow, he's
who else did you meet?
Jack. But he's a really nice guy. So was Jack
Daniels.
And so anyhow, he was our guest last night. We went to break. He stayed over to break down the regionals, and we were getting ready to do the second segment. So we had like a 3-minute break. And so Trey goes, go ahead, ask him. He officiates, and so does his son. And I said, look here, man, what the hell is going on? Can we? And I started in, and he said, well, in theory, actually, the shooter can land wherever he wants to land, and there's no, there's a rule of verticality and all that for the defender. I said, yeah, but you can't kick somebody all the time. And he's the guest is from Indiana, and he's like, well, that's the old Reggie Miller player. I go, screw that guy. He goes, he's my favorite player of all time. I was like, well, screw him, because he set this all up. And we were like going back and forth, and Trey was cracking up laughing. Here we go.
Did you guys footnote the Koepka? And
oh, yeah, we got. Yeah,
you guys got into it?
Oh, we had a good discussion about it. It was great. He said, and he was listening to our discussion yesterday. He goes, look, you're both right, just like Brooks is kind of right, and so is Brandel Chambly. He goes, Brooks needs to handle that better, A. B, you have to timestamp the argument. You got to timestamp. You got to say, what period of time are we looking from? You and I were talking about that, because there is no doubt that Rory McIlroy has had a better career currently. If we're looking at careers, it's not really even that close. There's no doubt he's had a better career than Brooks Koepka. But if you're picking a winner in the next major, you're probably taking Brooks over everybody but Tiger. And even then, it's like 50-50,
Yeah,
right?
or Molinari. Yeah, it's those three. It's those three, and probably Tiger first because of the consistency of the last three majors, yeah. Did you see last night? Sorry. Last night they had, once the first game got out of hand, the 2018 PGA was on.
Yeah.
In its entirety.
I saw that.
I was riveted all over again. I mean, I forgot that Justin Thomas was a thing.
Well, Justin's a really good player. He gets left out of this for some reason. He's kind of been quiet lately, but he
was very much a factor in that, and I forgot about that because of the finish, because down the stretch it's Tiger and then Rosie and Brooks. And Rosie missed that putt on 17, my God. But halfway through, I mean, there were a ton of guys halfway through. There were a bunch, I think it was 9 guys within 2 strokes. But Justin Thomas was right there, and he missed a ton of key little short putts that could have put him in contention and posted a number around 13 or 14
But
himself.
we know him to be tough. We think he's tough.
I don't know. I'm not saying that. I totally forgot. Like when I envisioned that and I look back on it, Justin wasn't a part of the picture. But I was reminded last night when they had the replay of it, which, I mean, that is one of the great final rounds in major history. Oh, my God.
So let me ask you the question one more time, though, because it's kind of fun. And I got to give Trey Jones credit for this. When I got to his house last night for the show, he goes, I was listening to you guys and your argument. He goes, that was a fun one. That was good. He goes, because it made me think a little bit. I couldn't decide where I was on that. And I said, well, what part? And he goes, majors or wins. He goes, I agree with you. The season does matter, and a career matters more than just majors. One of the reasons that Jack and Snead and Tiger are so great is they've amassed a ton of wins in addition to their majors. He goes, so let's do it. Let's play the game. I said, all right, let's play the game. He goes, John Daly's career or Matt Kuchar? Woo.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Kuch has 0 majors. John has 2.
Yep.
Kuchar's had the better career.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But he is a bridesmaid and a half at majors.
It's got to hurt, right? I actually feel for him because he got past that with the way he played at the British Open. He played brilliantly. Remember that? He was awesome.
John Daly or Lee Westwood? Oh, Westie's missed. I mean, that Ryder Cup in 16. Oh, my God, the putt he misses.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Daly there.
How many wins is a major worth? Is it equivalent to if you're doing like a banking system?
So we're gonna.
I think it's probably between 8 to 10, right?
Oh, I don't think that many. I think 5 or 6.
5 or 6?
It's hard to win on the PGA Tour. I mean,
it's even harder to win a major.
Depends. Bubba Watson could win the Masters 6 times and nothing else. This course sets up for him perfectly.
It's a unique example, but yes.
Well, I mean, I gave you an example.
Yeah.
I mean, there are.
I mean, Fred Couples plays well at Augusta, but he's not exactly, a multi-time champion over there.
No,
Bubba is just a.
But that course specifically sets up
could
perfectly
not.
for
it
him.
could not set up better for anybody else.
Right. So the point would be, how special is Bubba Watson? Are Bubba Watson's 2 Masters championships? You get credit because you got to close the deal. You got to win them, and there are plenty of guys that course suits.
Would you take Bubba's career over Kuchar's career at this point? I mean,
Bubba's won other tournaments.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay.
But I'd take Kuchar's career earnings.
Well, I mean, just think of it this way: would you rather be known as a 20-time winner on tour or a 2-time major champion?
Well,
I think I'd rather be known as a 2-time major champion.
I think so when you're talking legacy, but I also think if you're talking bank and you're talking about life on the tour, how long, I got to know how long is my career if I only win 2 majors. Am I not making cuts, or am I making cuts and losing these other events? How long do I have my card? I mean,
you'll have exemptions galore if you win the 2 majors far enough apart.
You would, but you know what I mean. Like, are you a player each week? Are you constantly, or are you just this guy that,
Well, I think Brooks is a player. I mean,
he's one of the best 5 players in the world right now. We're not arguing that. Where it gets more interesting is the further removed we get from that, and we start comparing middling guys, guys that are good players. I mean, David Duval only has the 1 major.
Yeah.
And David Duval was the number 1 player in the world.
That's his 2nd major. Yes, he can claim that, right?
Well, and he did it at the time that Tiger Woods existed.
Correct. Yeah.
I would say that every day, all day. I was the last guy to be number 1 while Tiger Woods had been number 1, and I took it back.
Forever.
Ask
Phil about that.
We don't even have time for probables. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We got Soccer Guys up next. Stay tuned. Good show.